Bido, can you hear anything except for my voice? No. Okay. Can you really quickly ask Ace to come into voice chat with me? Because I don't know what's going on, and she might be able to help, hopefully. Okay, I'll let her. For some reason, Ace, the audio output capture isn't working for some reason. Like, um, they can't hear anything on my computer. Okay. So, I the audio output capture this usually picks up on everything going on the computer, and it's not picking up anything. Okay. Still nothing.
You just have normal desktop audio?
Oh, there we go.
Hello? Can I be heard? Am I being heard right now? What? Sorry. I'm sorry, I was a little loud.
You're good, but I don't think it's picking up on the game music. Or maybe it is, and it's just
I don't
quiet. Oh, there it is. Okay, I have it very quiet.
yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of funny because I thought you used regular OBS.
No, I use Streamlab OBS right now just because it's easier for me to navigate and stuff. Um,
Fair enough. I'm still confused about normal OBS to this day.
yeah, I just got really confused. But thank you for the help. You can either stay here, or you can just go back. I don't care.
Uh, Moon just sent me a text. Oh, you left XD. It's like, yeah, it fucking summoned me. It
I
was
needed
summoned
I
into.
needed tech support.
I am your tech friend.
I required tech support. Oh my god.
It's so funny because I say this, but I can't build a gaming PC.
Fair.
I say I'm the Bido chat. Ace is ignoring me. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Bido tried to summon you for me in Angie's chat. And you didn't see it. And so Bido said that you're ignoring him.
Ace, I am supposed to ask you to help Fox. Oh, I apologize, Bido.
Yeah.
AJ's right now looking at all the old.
Yeah, I just needed tech support because I started my stream and it was like, wait, why the fuck isn't it working?
Every time I try to upload a VOD, I always get hit with the video processing is taking longer than expected. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you, YouTube.
I mean, helping with the stream stuff is already good tech support. True.
True, indeed. I usually have it set to. Oh, hello, PNG. I usually have it set to desktop audio, so I usually never have that issue. Unless it's the same
Yeah.
damn thing. I don't know.
No, it is the same thing. It's supposed to be desktop audio. Yeah. But
Oh, you're in mod mode. You know what's funny? I am a mod, but I'm never in mod
oh, I forgot
mode
that you
when
could
I'm
still see
in-
my screen.
I will stop watching.
No, you don't have to.
I'm going into mod mode.
I am playing.
Transformer.
I'm playing cute dating sim game.
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
This game is like actually adorable. Like.
It does seem funny, but
I
I am now at a predicament. I have to jump back and forth. Oh,
I don't care if you go back.
I feel bad.
No. Angie's gonna raid me in like an hour anyway. You can just come then, if you really want to. But yeah, I didn't know what was going on. I was confuzzled. I was confused.
Oh, it is funny. I told AJ in chat what happened. I said Fox requires tech support, and AJ was like, "Me? He's not gonna fucking get it if he's asking for me." I was like, "No, that's why I left."
No. Dude, we would have the stream would have just been us trying to figure out OBS if I let Andrew help.
The first like 5 minutes of my stream today was me trying to figure out how the hell.
If I had asked Angie for help, the stream would have just had to end.
It would have been 2 hours of just chaos.
It would just been 2 hours of us not knowing what we're doing. And then finally I just give up. Alright, Ace, since you're here, which moment would you like me to play through first?
You're putting a lot on me, man.
Just
be honest.
Just pick one! You can even do eeny, meeny, miny, mo!
Dinner.
Dinner?
I just closed my eyes.
Honestly, fair enough. Sunlight shone through the windows as you sat in your living room, your home phone pressed to your ear. Cove was on the other end. It'd been shaping up to be an ordinary day like any other, until Cove had called unexpectedly. He sounded unusually nervous greeting you. You listened silently as he kept talking, his words stilted. What does stilted mean? So, I was just, wondering, do you want to come over to my house for dinner tonight? The question came out strangely, almost like he'd rehearsed it a few times beforehand. Dude, I rehearse what I'm gonna say constantly. Like, even if I'm just, like, talking to someone, if I'm, like, starting the conversation with that person, I repeat it endlessly in my head until I finally send the message.
Oh, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Or you're talking to...
I'm talking in general.
I was so hyper-focused on something.
You're good. No.
One of the worst cases of ADHD.
No, you are totally good. But I get so anxious about what I'm saying that I'll just repeat what I'm gonna say 15 times in my head before I actually send the message.
You see, it's kind of funny that you say that, and then I always remember that one time you sent me a message like, "Ace, we need to talk." ... It's not about anything bad though.
Oh my God. ... To be fair, I was just doing that to be funny and add suspense.
The thing is, that would have been... Fox, you should have known. This would have probably been the first thing Ace wakes up to.
Yeah.
This will fuck with Ace for all day until I get back to her.
To be fair, it was kind of funny. So.
I honestly thought you were pissed at me.
No. If I send you that, I am guaranteed just trying to be funny. Because if I'm genuinely upset with you, I'm not just gonna leave it on a fucking cliffhanger.
I feel like it would have been like, Ace, we need to talk. I fucking hate your guts. The end.
I can't go. I can't go to dinner. I actually have reserved plans at a fancy restaurant down the street, you know? No, I'll say, yeah, I could go. I was... Huh? Oh. It seemed that Cove still had more to say, and you just interrupted him. Shit! Cool. Well, he stumbled for a bit, trying to gather his thoughts again. My mom and dad, they really want you to be there. If your parents don't have a problem with it, they asked me to help. They asked me to ask you. You took a moment to think. Dinner at home would be quiet and uneventful today. If you really wanted to, you could go to Cove's instead. It's kind of bad, but you actually can tell him no. Oh no. That's sad. I'd be sad if I did that. Cove spoke up again, breaking your thought train. His voice was softer than before. Also, I want you to be there too. Can you come over, I mean? Nah, I can't make it. I'll have to ask my moms. I'll have to ask Andrew. I'll have to ask Andrew if I could go to dinner.
What? I'll ask for you.
Yeah, ask Andrew if I have permission to go to dinner at Cove's house.
Go to dinner at Cove's house.
Just pops up in Andrew's chat. Don't worry, Ace is asking for me. He sounded notably relieved by your response. Was you coming over for a dinner today?
Yes.
Oh, I got a yes? Let's go!
At least I think. I might have misheard.
Oh.
I'm gonna say repeat that. I couldn't hear you.
He spoke to you for a little while longer to explain what time to come over and other details, then hung up. And that was that. For now, anyway. You called Mama right afterward, and she picked up on the third ring. It wasn't a long conversation. When you asked to go to the Holden house for dinner, she was more than happy to give permission for it. No problems there. Mama
yes, that was right. You can go. You can go.
Let's go! Mama wasn't one to complain about you spending time with Cove. Cove got a quick call from you afterward, so he knew for sure that you would attend the dinner. Then you said your goodbyes and went on with the afternoon.
Wait, what's this?
What?
Goodbye, Bobby! Try not to die!
Try not to die.
What is that from?
It's from Dark Revival.
Oh.
It's what Porter says when he leaves. He's like, goodbye, Bubby! Try not to die!
Yo, finally getting...
I'm gonna redeem that on Friday a bunch. You should. Soon enough, the sun dipped out of the sky and evening came. It was time for you to head to Cove's house. After letting Elizabeth know you were leaving, she didn't look away from the TV, just grunted. You made it the small journey across the street, the long, treacherous journey across the brutal landscape that is the street. You knocked a couple times on the heavy door to their condo. As you waited for an answer, you found yourself contemplating being a guest while both of Cove's parents were there. Oh yeah, the mom is still there. Also, I should probably go to bed soon. I played an Isaac run for the past 2 hours. Isaac.
The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah. That's cool. It's 2 a.m. right now. Yeah, I probably should go to bed, honestly. It's apprehensive. You didn't know what to expect from this dinner party. You didn't get too much time with your thoughts, though. The door opened soon enough. Cove's mom, Kyra, stood in the frame, smiling warmly at you.
Come on.
Hey, Fox! Welcome! Please come on in. She opened the door wider and moved to make room. You stepped inside, allowing her to shut it behind you. Thanks so much for coming over. I know it was kind of last second. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Of course. Just make yourself at home. It's not my home, but I've been given permission to say that. Mr. Holden making his ex-wife get the door. I know, right? Hey, Fox. Welcome to our humble abode. You jerked your head toward the sound of Mr. Holden's voice. He waved at you briefly from the kitchen with his back turned and a large spoon in his hand. Doesn't this man only know how to make eggs? Like,
I don't know.
I
haven't.
I thought part of his lore was that he's a horrible cook.
I don't know. Fox, I barely tuned in to half of the story. You're asking the wrong.
Hope you're hungry, because I'm whipping up a lot of tasty stuff. True to his word, you heard something sizzling on the stove. You closed your eyes and inhaled. It smelled spicy and savory. With Mr. Holden busy and Cove nowhere to be seen, it was just you and Kyra. She gave you a wry smile. This smile is very intimidating. I'm still intimidated by this woman. He sure is. Well, I've been barred from cooking the entire time I'm staying here. Can you believe that? She nudged you with an elbow. Mr. Holden scoffed good-naturedly, then spoke from over his shoulder. You're on vacation, Kyra. You need to accept that already. She yelled back, amusement obvious on her face and in her tone. People still cook when they're on vacation. Everyone's gotta eat. It's not like I'm a celebrity who can go out for every meal or hire like a private chef.
Sorry.
Well, in this house, you're a VIP. Kyra smiled and shook her head quietly. Then she turned to face you once more.
Well,
Sorry about that, Fox. Here I was, trying to strike up a conversation with you, and Cliff just had to butt in. I don't butt in. She eyed him, chuckling in disbelief. He wasn't exactly disproving her point with that. Kyra leaned over to whisper to you. It's okay. He likes to be included. But since Clifford insisted on cooking all by himself, he'll have to wait. The two of us can chat. Her next question continued to be said in a hushed tone just to be safe. So, how are you doing? I'm good. Kyra didn't seem too convinced by your awkward phrasing. I'm just anxious. I have anxiety.
Anxiety.
I have anxiety. She opened her mouth to
Okay.
say something more, but some lightly pounding footsteps caught your attention. What were you saying, Ace? I interrupted you.
I don't remember.
You checked to see. Go ahead.
This is why this is why I'm not that funny.
She does, yeah. She has that tell me now, tell me energy. She really does. But at the same time, I'm like incredibly intimidated by this woman. Like, it feels like she's like hiding this evil side to her. And I don't know if I'm just paranoid or if she actually is, but it feels like she's hiding something. It feels like she's hiding something. You checked to see Cove emerge from the hall a few moments later. He might have heard all the commotion and left his room to see what was going on. He quickly took stock of the situation. His eyes tinted pink at the sight of you standing in his living room, and his hand came up to rub his arm almost bashfully. Fox, hey, thanks for being here. There was nothing unusual about the words in his greeting, but you could tell there was something wrong from the way he looked like he wanted to be anywhere but there. Hi, Fox. Hi, Cove. You doing okay? I can't read today. Yeah, I'm fine. He didn't sound convincing at all. You narrowed your eyes suspiciously, but didn't call him out on it. If you could talk to him alone tonight, maybe you'd ask what was going on then. It was when you glanced away from Cove that you spotted his parents watching the two of you interact. Cove noticed their stares, meeting them with narrowed eyes. Are we having dinner now? Not yet, bud. I'm still cooking. Alright, I'm going back to my room. As he turned to leave, he bent his head to the side to face you. You coming? The question was quiet, but you heard it clearly. You smiled, pleased that he asked, and nodded in the affirmative. We're going to Cove's room. Cove turned fully and made his way down the hall. Have fun, you two. We'll call you when food's ready to go. With that, I mean, it's either that or stay with Kyra. Yeah, fair. And I don't want to stay with Kyra. She scares me.
Oof.
With that, you followed after Cove. The two of you made your way down the hall.
Oh no.
You'd visited Cove's room before, but only rarely. I feel like since we've been friends for like 5 years at this point, I would have seen his room. So, I feel like it would be at the pretty standard.
Fair enough.
Cove got to the door first, opening it and stepping inside. You joined him. There was a mat on the floor in front of the door. As you stepped over the threshold into his room, you felt the crunch of sand beneath your feet. Oh, he has a nice-ass room. It's got like a... I feel like this is supposed to be a bunk bed, but it just got turned into like extra storage, which is cool. Oh, and he has fish! Nice. The sensation was nothing new to you, of course. Cove constantly came back to his room covered in sand, not bothering to clean himself off at the front door, and got it all over his personal space. That's just how he was. A little bit of a mess. That's cute. You hadn't heard Mr. Holden ever scold him for it. Not like your moms would have if you'd done it. You can sit wherever you want. Cove himself took a seat at the edge of his large bed, looking like the picture of comfort, and let you decide. I don't sit anywhere. I stand and I T-pose for dominance.
Yes, that's how you get this person to like you.
I T-pose in the middle of the room and assert dominance. I'll just sit on his bed. Why not? As soon as you sat next to him, Cove grew tense. His back went stiff and he ducked his head away. He tried to hide a trembling smile.
Oh my god.
Oh! Fuck.
Oh no. You keep making the wrong choices.
No! No!
You're gonna end up
No! The
single-minded
voice
in
actor
the
was just so cute saying, oh my god. I love when you get to hear the voice actors. Because it's so cute. He said it under his breath, as if he didn't want you to hear. You obviously did, and easily, since you were right beside him. You can roll the mouse wheel back and experience it all again. Smiled comfortingly. He raised his eyebrows. You both kept noticing the other's every move. What the fuck is Andrew drawing?
I don't know. What is she doing?
I just looked over at what Andrew's doing.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay. I will shrug back. We're just gonna get in a loop of doing non-verbal communication with each other. Cove took that as the non-answer it was, shifting nervously on the bed. He pointedly glanced away from you, the tips of his ears red. With the silence growing, your gaze began to drift. You stared at the bright fish swimming in the tank. There were a bunch of them, floating to and fro in the open space. They stood out I can read, I swear. They stood out starkly against the green aquarium plants. How long have you had those fish?
I guess.
My dad bought them for me not very long after I moved here. I guess it's been years now. Wow, that's a long time. How long do fish live for? I know it, like, depends on the species. But, like, is there, like, a standard lifespan for fish? I don't know. Welcome back.
Moon flustered me, and I felt offended, and I'm back.
What did Moon do?
Basically, Moon called me out because I accidentally said married instead of in a relationship.
Oh
and
my
Moon
god.
said I love you, and I said love you too in a very shy way, and AJ mocked me, so I said I'm going back to.
Ow. Most of them were small, but there was one especially big one. Dude, how long do fish live for?
How long do what?
How long do fish live for?
How long do fish live for? 2 to 5 years.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay. What are their names?
How long does a goldfish live?
I have
2
no
months.
idea. 2 months. 2 months if you're
Okay.
really taking care of it. one day to 2 months. That's the lifespan of a goldfish. I don't name them. Well, not really. He lifted an eyebrow at that. He continued the explanation sheepishly. Mostly I just call them things based on what they look like. Squirt for the small one, tangerine for the really orange one, that sort of thing. Oh, that's cute. I've had a lot of fish, and I'm not that good at coming up with names. Ah, that's funny. Who knew that was a weakness of his? It was an entertaining revelation. Oh, a couple of them have other types of names. He pointed to a small orangish redfish. It was minding its own business away from the others. My dad named her Dreamcatcher, and that one's Mark. Mom came up with that one. Cove smiled to himself, eyes reflecting on the glow of the tank. You let other people name your fish? Yeah, it's nice. He then turned to you, tilting his head to the side. There was a considering look on his face. Do you want to name one? Hell yeah!
Name it Boris.
Name it Boris! Imagine she named the fish Mark after her new boyfriend and just hasn't told Mr. Holden yet! Oh no! Oh god! The ultimate betrayal! Dude, I read a Reddit story once where this person was with this guy and she got pregnant and the guy was like trying to get her to name the baby something. It was like Valentino or something like that. Because the baby was like due on Valentine's Day. And the mom didn't want to do that at all. And he decided to go behind her back and put Valentino on the birth certificate. And so they got divorced. And she got with a new partner, and he got with a new partner, and his partner got pregnant. And she very subtly suggested the name to them. Like, I don't remember if she suggested her name or the Valentino name, but whatever she suggested, the lady absolutely loved. And so now her ex-husband has to deal with hearing the name associated with his ex for the rest of his life.
Oof. Why'd you do that to him?
It's fucking insane. Oh my god. His smile grew a little at your interest. Sure. There's a few who don't have names right now, the newer ones. You can pick which you want to name. He pointed at each of the recent acquisitions out to you. The first was the smallest fish in the tank. It was completely orange and zipped all over the place, running laps around the others. The second was slightly bigger and red. Its tail was dotted with black spots, which almost resembled freckles. The last fish was the biggest one. Its multicolored scales rippled under the bright light of the tank as it slowly made its way across the vast expanse. You went with, I want the medium fish, because red is my favorite color. Cove only nodded at your answer, waiting on you to decide on a suitable name. You watched the fish you chose closely, as you did, and name eventually came to you. I can type my own answer. We're naming it Boris. Boris the fish.
Boris the fish.
Boris the fish.
Boris the
Alright, it's Boris. Let's go!
Watching you play this, I just
Huh.
keep getting reminded that not every visual novel game is secretly a psychological horror game.
Not every visual novel is Doki Doki Literature Club Ace.
I've been scarred and I refuse to touch this genre again.
Fair. With that, his attentions moved from you to the tank. He peered fondly at it and its inhabitants. You smiled proudly at Boris as it swang through the tendrils of the plants, disappearing and then reappearing soon after. I named a fish. You noticed then that Cove was sitting closer to you than he was before. He must have scooted over at some point during the conversation. This close, your shoulders were almost brushing against each other. Your heartbeat picked up a little at the realization. I'm not allowed to have pets in my house. Not even fish. The corner of Cove's lips turned down at that. That doesn't sound fair. It's not like the fish would make a mess in your house or anything. You just gotta take care of their tank and feed them and they'll be okay. I really like pets, so I'm going with my mom. Moms can be strict over the weirdest things sometimes. Cause it's like, I want a cat.
Wait, what?
I love pets. They trust Elizabeth and me to go around the neighborhood alone, but they won't let us have a pet? It doesn't make sense. Maybe when they're older they'll let you? I don't know. They seem pretty against it. Oh, thank you, Moon. Thank you for the head pats.
I forget Moon is. Hi, Moon.
I forgot that Moon was watching.
I mean, I am moderating Moon chat. I mean, AJ's chat.
Fair.
Moon has not streamed in a while.
Yeah. You're...
Yeah.
Hi, Ace. Hi, Fox.
Hello.
Your
It
current...
is I. Okay, go on. Sorry.
No, finish your sentence.
It is I. Skinny Pete. What's up? It's your boy.
Oh my
Skinny Pete.
god. Your current conversation brought to mind a memory from years ago. You launched into it without any warning, earning you a brief, confused look from Cove. One time, Elizabeth, came back from playing at the beach and just shut herself in her room. She only came down for food, then she ran back upstairs straight after. It was kind of weird. My moms didn't think much of it at first, though. But then, that night, Mama went into her room to say goodnight and started screaming. Mom and I ran over to see what happened. Lizzie had this huge lizard in her arms. Cove's eyebrows rose at that. He leaned forward in interest.
Really?
A lizard? Where'd that come from? Elizabeth said she saw it half buried in the sand and didn't know what it was. Then she pulled it out and got the answer, so she brought it home. That's a interesting leap in logic. You're just like, what is this thing? Oh, I know what this thing is now. Time to take it home! She hid the lizard in her room for most of the day because she wanted to keep it. Mom and Mama were not happy. They worried about putting it out during the night, but she was gonna have to let it go in the morning. Lizzie was really upset. She did bring it back to the beach eventually, but she wouldn't talk to anyone for days. When she did get over it, it was almost like it never happened. You laughed, thinking back to that time. Elizabeth has always been stubborn, but when she was younger, she forgot grudges quickly. Now, it wasn't so easy. Gov had been quiet for most of the story, apart from the reveal of the lizard. He had a thoughtful look on his face. I can't imagine what it'd be like to have a sibling. He gave serious thought to his statement before you told him. There are ups and downs. It's a nice idea in general, but my sister is Elizabeth.
It's a nice idea, but my sister.
It's a nice idea, but unfortunately, my sister is my sister. Which means that it sucks.
I know you got rejected. I don't know if that's
It's nice. It's fun to have her there when she wants me to be there, but now Elizabeth barely feels like hanging out with me. Cove pursed his lips at the words, considering them quietly for a while.
Cool.
That's interesting. I think your family is cool. You didn't have much else to say, though. Though while on the topic of your family, you considered your relationship with your moms, too. get along with my moms. They're very good moms. They're very good moms. You couldn't even consider having another opinion, but you couldn't have better parents. Well, say what you want about them, but at least your mom's never tried to pay someone to be your friend. Shit.
Well, this is when Fox reveals he's had that exact situation happen to him.
The thought prompted you to look over at Cove. He probably still didn't know that happened. Your dad had Mr. Holden mentioned it, and you never had. You wondered if you should tell him. It was such a long time ago, but you were keeping a secret from Cove. Oh. Oh, God. Oh. Like, here's the thing. I want to tell him, but I also don't want to make him upset. And like...
What?
Okay, so basically at the beginning of this story, you meet the dad first, and he tries to offer you $20 to be friends with Cove.
Oh.
And I didn't take the money. I said, no, it's fine. I'll be friends with him anyway. And so the game is like prompting me to tell him. But I don't know if I should tell him, because, like, to be fair, I didn't take the money, so it's not really relevant to our friendship. Maybe we're good enough friends to be able to tell him that, but also, like, I don't want him, like, to get mad at his dad or think our friendship is a lie or something like that. Ugh.
As your friend, one of your good friends, Fox.
Uh-huh.
Actually, as one of your friends. I'm great myself. It's one of your friends. Like, not even letting you be like, oh yeah, you're a good friend. It's like, it's one of your acquaintances.
As one of your many acquaintances.
As your coworker, as your
coworker.
I mean, as your editor and nothing more. We're only a business relationship. We are at a business level relationship. There is no friendship.
We are strictly on a business relationship. Oh my god.
Okay, man. Okay. Back to serious. As your friend, if someone told me, even if, and like, at this point, were you given multiple times to like tell the truth, like throughout the game?
Well, no. I was given the chance once, and then this is the second time that it's giving me the chance.
How much longer do you have in this kind of premise?
I believe there are 2 more stages.
That might mean they might give you one or 2 more chances, and the longer you keep it a secret, the
Ace,
more damage you'll do to your friendship.
Ace, will you run a poll?
I don't know. This is honestly a toughie because like, comes a point where it's like it is where it's like if you tell the truth at a too late of a point. Like Fox, let's just go into this hypothetical. Don't click on it yet. Give me a minute. If you revealed, let's just say we were in our 40s, living it up in this hypothetical situation, and you revealed that AJ paid you to be friends with me, or paid you to ask me to be your editor or something, I'd be hurt.
Yeah.
And I would cease communication. So like, it's better to rip the band-aid off. All right,
let's rip the band-aid off.
I will personally leave the call and never communicate with you again if you stop talking to you after this. I will just ghost you and stop because I feel like you're gonna ghost me.
No. Okay, we're ripping off the band-aid.
Take a deep breath.
You took a deep breath, You took a deep, steadying breath to prepare yourself for the conversation. Now you just had to figure out how to tell him.
Oh, great. Now you have 3 options on how you want to do. I'd say please don't get mad.
Yeah,
About this. That
I'd
would
say
be
please
me.
don't get mad about this because, like, I didn't take the money. I like,
I rewrote it
he,
where
like,
you did take the money.
it's essentially like I was offered this and I didn't take it because I wanted to be friends with you naturally. That's what I'm hoping you get to communicate.
What?
Cove brow furrowed at your uncomfortable tone. He turned to give you his full attention. About what? You stared into his bright ocean eyes.
Chicken down. You get one chance to back out.
I'm not backing out. I'm ripping the band-aid off now.
He just says get the fuck out.
So, this was way back when you moved here, and the first time I met your dad, actually. Your dad, well, he offered to give me $20 to be friends with you. Cove sat still, uncharacteristically. There was an unreadable expression on his face. His eyes seemed to look through you, and you didn't know what to do next. Then, without a word, Cove stood up from his bed in a single motion, and he just bolted right out of the room.
I'm leaving the call.
Uh,
I'm leaving the call. I
I'm
made a
gonna
wrong choice.
fucking cry. For a moment, you didn't move a muscle. You were in shock. This was... Oh no. Your senses quickly came back. You shot into the hall after him. Cove! There was no response to your call. You could see Cove down the way. He had already sprinted back to his living room. His arms were stock at his side, with his hand tightly balled into your fists. Oh, Angie, thank you for the raid. We have ripped the band-aid off and are telling Cove that his dad tried to bribe me, and I'm in emotional pain. I'm in pain.
I regret this.
This is painful. I regret everything.
I regret. You should not have listened to me.
You could see Cove down the way. Okay. He might not have been facing you, but you didn't need to see his face to know how he felt. Cove was furious. His parents were nearly finished setting the table. They greeted him, none the wiser about what was about to happen.
Huh?
Hey, what's up? When did you start running in the house? Are you that famished? Hello, Ordinary Clover. Oh, Ordinary Clover. I'm in emotional pain. Angie, we are telling Cove that his dad tried to bribe us. Unfortunately.
I regret convincing Fox.
Ace convinced me to do it. And now we're telling him, and he's very upset. And I feel bad. We were finally able to catch up in full and stand near Cove. The parents' words didn't even register in his ears. Their child was wholly focused on another matter. He was practically shaking. Cove took one more step forward and glared up at his father's face. You paid Fox to be friends with me?
Oh, shit.
Mr. Holden froze. He looked like a helpless deer caught in the headlights.
Seriously?
Clifford, are you serious? He whipped his head toward Kyra, his eyes wide and blinking rapidly. It was only one time. Bruh. Bruh.
That's enough
Bruh.
times.
You could have said. You could have said. You could have said he didn't take the money.
It's okay, this is when I told him my first time too. The admission elicited an aghast expression from his ex-wife. Mr. Holden raised his hands up to gesture defensively. It seemed like a good idea when it happened. She covered her eyes with one hand. It was clear that her patience was frayed, but she was not so shocked anymore. Mr. Holden bowed his head, rubbing the back of his neck guiltily. The fact that she accepted this as something he'd do so easily seemed to be the most crushing part. Cove just stood there, fuming silently during their little aside. His eyebrows furrowed painfully and his eyes trembled. I feel bad for Cove, man. He was taking it worse than you had ever imagined. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, but must have been only minutes, the tense silence was broken by Cove. I don't want to stay here. That immediately caught his parents' attention. They turned to him with twin expressions of worry. Hey, wait a minute, bud. You don't have to do that.
It's alright.
There's still your room. We'll stay out of your way, I promise. Where could you go at this time of day? It's almost night. I can stay with Fox. Oh, at least he's not mad at me. Oh, thank God. I was so worried he was mad at me. I was so scared he was mad at me.
I only got one thing to say. I only got one thing to say about my logic. Never judge Ace again. Task failed
Just
successfully.
failed
Let's go.
successfully.
I am an intelligent human being.
You
This is
stormed
why you
out the
all-
house without waiting for another response. You jumped as the door slammed, closed behind him. You immediately follow after Cove. Jesus Christ, man is going through shit.
Yeah.
I am
Man.
there for him. I am a supportive best friend. I will go after this boy. You didn't even take the time to say something to his stunned parents. You ran after Cove, shutting the door more softly behind you as you left. You spotted him easily.
Arguing.
Yeah, seriously, they're gonna be arguing so much right now. You spotted
Yeah, I
him
would've-
easily. Cove hadn't made it far. He just reached to the middle of the road.
Honestly, I'd probably follow quietly.
Yeah, honestly, like, there's not really anything you can say in that situation except for, I didn't take the money.
Yeah.
You had already said enough, walking a couple paces behind him, silent. Cove stomped forward, going across the street without hesitance, towards your house. It didn't take you long to approach the front door. You'd left it unlocked, so he yanked it open and went inside with you.
Oh.
By then, night fully came. The two of you stood tensely together in the middle of your living room. The night really hadn't gone as you imagined it would. Yeah, we didn't even eat dinner. At least Elizabeth
Yeah.
wasn't around and your moms were out. You had no idea how you would have explained the situation to them, and you were sure Cove wouldn't have been up for that. He watched you from a distance. His expression wasn't hostile, but was not exactly welcoming either.
Can we talk about how his parents are just totally cool with him walking out of the house and going to stay at a friend's house?
You know what? He kind of stormed out without giving them the chance to speak, so like...
And to be fair, I think they're gonna be too busy arguing with each
Yeah.
other to actually
My
care.
I'm just gonna say sorry. My automatic response is just to say sorry.
That
Yeah.
would be my response too.
Cove shifted so his back was to you, then crossed his arms over his chest.
Dang.
Are you mad at me? To your surprise, he actually responded. What? No.
It's okay.
I
That
just...
failed successfully.
I wish I'd known before, but... I guess there's never really a good time to bring up something like that. You're not the one who did anything. His tone was clipped and insulting, though it was now fully clear that none of the negativity was towards you. That's good! Oh,
Oh, thank
God!
you.
Relief! Holy shit! And we're actually friends, aren't we? It doesn't matter if you took it or not. You wouldn't have pretended for years just because of Dad's money. You nodded your head furiously at that. If there was one thing you didn't want this revelation to do, it was weaken your friendship. Of course we're friends. Cove seemed to appreciate your reassurance. The furrow in his brow eased a little. Yeah, we are. I'm definitely not mad at you. I should have thanked you for not letting him get to you, and for telling me it happened. My dad never would have. He's always like that. He just does things. He doesn't ask or tell me about it or anything. Cove threw his arms out, his features twisted in frustration.
Oh.
There was already the thing with my mom coming to stay with us for the summer out of nowhere, and that was supposed to be a surprise. I'd find out about it. Who knows what other things he's done that I've never heard of? Does he even know how to think about what someone else might actually want? He paused to take a panting breath, scowling.
Oh, don't say it could be worse. Don't say
No,
that.
absolutely not.
It could be worse, you know. Your dad
My
could've kept
my
footing the
default is
bill.
literally to just say I'm sorry.
I honestly would probably stay quiet, especially after like an argument like that.
I
Yeah.
would have just said, even if it didn't go, I would have fucked up and said, it
I-
could be worse.
I would have said sorry just to like say that I'm listening. That's kind of what I mean when like I react with I'm sorry. It's just like I'm listening, I'm here, and I don't really know what to say. Yeah. His eyes narrowed.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get sustenance.
Okay. That's not even what all of this is. The worst part is, I know he doesn't do stuff for himself. He does things because he wants to make people happy. Cove blinked rapidly. No! Don't cry! I'll cry! Cove blinked rapidly, and you noticed tears were gathering in his eyes. When he spoke again, his voice was heavy with emotion. But he just makes everything worse, and then he's really sorry, and it's like it's your fault for not being happy that at least he was trying. And what if all his plans are always being so pushed? What if all his plans and always being so pushy did change things? What things? Cove finally met your gaze, his bottom lip trembling. You realized then that he was referring to you and him. What if he did make you stay away from me? Before we even got to know each other? Cove cracked as he forced himself to speak through the tears. No! Ah! It began to fall in earnest. He did everything he could to say it, but the words were barely a whisper. I'm gonna fucking cry. Fox, you were the best thing about coming here. Yes, this is a dating sim. Cove was honestly terrified over the idea that there was a chance the two of you might not have what you do. I'm fucking hugging this man. I'm hugging him. I'm hugging him.
How old are you in this?
We're like, around like 12, 13 right now.
Ah.
Yeah. Cove readily accepted the embrace. He wrapped his arms around you in return. The grip was firm. I wouldn't have let your dad, or anyone else, mess things up. His features crumbled at your words. More tears threatened to fall down his cheeks, but he stubbornly blinked them away. He remained like that for just a little while. Oh, my heart.
Poor Bean.
Oh, poor baby.
PNG, when you like kind of cough cried, synced perfectly.
I know. He then scrubbed his eyes with the back of one hand. His gaze turned away from you, growing distant. He's like that with my mom, too. The anger he had begun to release bubbled back to the surface. Dad wants to make people happy, but he doesn't. The words landed scathingly hard. You were certain it'd crush Mr. Holden if he heard them. You'd never know how much his parents You'd never know much about his parents' relationship, but you thought you understood it a bit better now. I'm here for you. Cove just looked at the ground. As the two of you were stifled by the quiet, a thought came to your mind, abrupt and sudden.
What about your fish?
What about your fish? No.
That would be me.
You ran to the hills behind the house, and Mr. Holden waited for you to come back while my mom's checked the park for you. That was when I met you for the first time, after he talked to me about you. Cove lifted his eyes just enough to see you. His head remained low. I remember too, when we first moved to Sunset Bird, I felt like I lost my whole life. Maybe that's why he wanted to help you start a life here so much. Oh, fuck! His eyebrows scrunched up and he seemed on the verge of tears once more. I'm gonna be on the verge of tears once more.
I don't know whether or not I made the right decision or the more emotional
No,
choice, but...
this is I can speak. This is a good decision. It needed to happen. I'm just in pain.
It's like your headpads.
It was obvious Cove didn't want to think about his dad that way, but it was also hard not to right now.
Can I offer you?
I would love an egg in these trying times. Thank you. I just thought of the most Giga Chad move, paying the person the money you received to hang out with them. You must be conflicted over where to go from here. Yes, I'll give him the money.
Emotional damage.
Very true. I'll be on your side no matter what. Cove smiled thoughtfully. He didn't say anything, but you had a feeling he appreciated the support. I'll talk to my mom and dad when they come. I know they will. Ooh, I got an achievement! The deal 2.
Achievement.
Ho ho, achievements! His face was set in
Okay.
determination. There was no way you could tell him to do anything else, even if you wanted to, so he only nodded. I think in my first playthrough I did take the money.
Wait,
And
you
then like
played this before?
I told him in like the same stage. I played a little bit before. I didn't get to play much because the cat kept turning off my PC. And so by the third time it happened, it was like, fuck it, I'm tired. I'm not streaming this game anymore.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, Fox. I'm sorry about all this. With a sigh, he walked over to the couch and sat down, his arms wrapped around himself.
Okay, Fox, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to just be friends with this man or others or another?
No, I want to date him.
All right. I just was making sure. It's like I don't know. Whatever.
What did I
know
come back to? All of a sudden I hear Fox say, no, I want to date him.
Ace asked
yeah,
what the end goal is.
Oh yeah, he was talking about Pedro Pascal.
Yes, you know what? It makes sense. Fox seems like you'd like Pedro Pascal.
Oh my god. You watched him.
sorry.
You knew you couldn't leave him alone, but you also had trouble figuring out what to do. I would ask if he wants a distraction.
Honestly, I'd probably ask him if he wants to eat, because I probably would have realized by now they hadn't eaten anything.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No,
would've been
eat
like-
and drink are good things to do after you've had a long cry, and he did a lot of cry.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Ew.
Dehydration is a serious thing that happens when you cry a lot.
Yeah. Water would be good. You got him a glass of water from the kitchen. He accepted gratefully and sipped at it, his gaze tired. About 20 minutes must have passed, then there came a knock on the door. Cove slowly turned his head toward it. It's gotta be them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tell him I'm not here.
You considered answering, but Cove stood from his seat first. He opened it without any hesitation. From over his shoulder, you spotted his parents in the doorway. Cove. Hi. How are you feeling, baby? I can go home now. Without another word, he walked past them. They let him pass before trading glances, looking equal parts surprised and concerned. They then moved their eyes further into the house, right at you. I want to come with just to give him emotional support. I said
Yes,
I'd be
go.
there for him.
Uh,
I don't. Mr. Holden was at a loss. To your relief, Kyra gestured over her way with his hand. She smiled carefully. You were invited. You quickly went over to where they were. As you closed the door behind you, the two of them rushed after Cove. You followed right behind them. The thing is, if I told him that I'm gonna support him no matter what, then I'm going to come and be there to support him during that conversation.
Being a massive simp. Got it.
I would do that with anyone! I'd do it with you! Cove was there waiting. His arms were crossed protectively in front of himself. He met his parents' gazes evenly. I can talk to you now. His parents looked over at him, their features soft. Cove instead snuck a glance at you. I'm glad I was there for him. You stared back solidly, hoping you could convey your support with your eyes. It must have worked, because Cove stood up a bit straighter. Cove then fully faced his parents. Mr. Holden stepped forward cautiously, his expression twisting in dismay. I am so sorry. I should have never done something so stupid. It's okay. It really isn't. That was a boneheaded move if there ever was one. I was bribing an actual child, one I'd never even met before that day. Cove almost cracked a smile, though he quickly regained his composure. Then it isn't, but I want things to be okay anyway.
I'm sorry.
Oh! This is gonna break my heart. Kara placed a hand on Mr. Holden's shoulders. Your dad doesn't believe if there's something wrong with you or that you can't make your own friends. He can explain.
I know.
I know why Dad did it. He wanted me to be happy, that's all. He didn't think it'd be like this. It was an accident. Kyra sighed heavily. A sad smile appeared on her lips. You're very grown up, Cove. Mr. Holden brought his hands up against his forehead and began to pace around the room. He didn't seem to know what to do with himself. Just give Cove $20.
Yeah, give the boy $20.
just give him the $20.
Yeah.
Oh my god. He turned back around to face Cove and Kyra. Okay, there's this scene in South Park that I don't want to spoil. Because I know Ace, you're watching South Park. But there's this scene where one of the characters doesn't want to do something. Like it's basically like he doesn't want to get into a relationship with someone. And his dad comes into the room and sits with him and has the most heartfelt conversation. And then is like, here's $20. It's so good. It's just like, I know you're upset with me. Here's $20. Here's some money.
Yes.
He turned
I
back.
don't know
To be fair,
To be
to
fair,
be
what?
fair, that $20 could make him happy for those couple minutes.
True! He turned around to face Cove and Kyra. He looked more solemn than you'd ever seen him. I'm not going to do it again. I haven't done it again. Haven't tried to bribe more people or haven't continued to step over a line without registering it. Damn!
Okay.
Damn!
I can see now why they got a divorce.
Holy shit, what a burn!
Damn.
Both! He let out a heavy breath before shrinking down a little. It was impressive because he was pretty tall.
I'm trying.
I don't know, but I don't think so. Cove's throat bobbed as he swallowed thickly. He looked like he was trying to gather all his courage. When he spoke up, his voice was small but firm. You invited Mom here. His... Damn! His dad's eyes widened. Cove was ready to have a talk he had put off before. You didn't ask me if I wanted things to be like this, with both of you together again for just a little while. Mr. Holden's hands slowly returned to his forehead. He was stunned, as if someone had just hit him.
Good, he deserves to be hit.
I did it again.
Yes.
I did it again and I didn't even notice. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just do something right?
Damn.
Oh,
This guy has issues.
seriously.
He's-
Everybody
he's
got
a little too.
issues. Everybody got issues here.
Even you, Fox, you got issues too.
I do got issues. At least Cove seemed
I'm gonna be
relieved
honest
that
with
he
you,
was...
What the fuck is on your stream, bro?
Ordinary Clover, thank you so much for the follow. I hope you're enjoying the stream. At least Cove seemed relieved that he was able to say what he felt. You knew just how long he'd been holding that in. Ah, the little heart. Thank you for the heart. It was quiet for a long stretch. Mr. Holden had sat down in a chair, his shoulders drooped and his head in his hands. You looked to Cove. He watched his dad and how genuinely he was struggling with what he'd been told. Cove glanced down at the ground, then looked back to his dad.
Way to go, superstar.
Fool's Gold has a dating sim too. Ooh, interesting.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I wanted to play that. I forgot. I
Okay.
can't play it.
If
Oh,
you
wait, I can. It's clicking it.
if you go to the Discord and you send that into the suggestion box, I will get to it. But if not, I will definitely forget. It's not even me trying. I have the memory of a goldfish cracker.
Wait, it's on Steam?
Oh. I will.
Hey, yo, I'm very glad I got greenlit for Steam.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I will check it out after stream. But no, that sounds really fun. I'm not angry anymore. Slowly, Mr. Holden met his son's eyes. I can try to talk to you about things and what I feel about stuff. I I stopped saying that to you since everything happened. I didn't want to talk to you, but you won't have to guess if you know. God, I can't speak tonight. I'm doing so good at talking. Mr. Holden
Yo.
broke
10
eye
out of
contact.
10.
I'm so good.
10
So
10
good
out of
words.
10.
Mr. Holden
Nice.
broke eye contact at that, shaking his head. My child shouldn't have to take care of me. You shouldn't have to make up for my shortcomings, Cove. I can fix things. I can still change. After having something of an outburst, Mr. Holden turned his face away and spoke more guardedly. Besides, I'm used to that already. I might not get it right, but not a damn thing would happen in what's left of this family if I wasn't making the effort. It's always me. What's one more thing left to manage? Damn! Everybody got issues.
They all need a therapist.
Seriously. Therapy for you. Therapy for you. Therapy for you. Therapy for me. Everybody gets therapy.
I have the perfect therapy. It's called the You Right button.
I could give you the number to my therapist if you need one.
Yeah.
That's Jay. I can't hand out that now.
Dad.
The stream deck can just be a glorified soundboard.
Yeah. You're right,
You
Cliff.
right.
I know. But I don't think Cove wants to take care of you. He just wants to understand. And he wants his dad to understand too. That's what matters, isn't it? It was still as Mr. Holden digested what Kyra said. He stared down at his empty hands, held out in front of him. When he looked at Cove again, tiny tears glimmered in the corner of his eyes. Oh no, we're crying again. Oh. He got up and crossed the room to his son. Cove didn't move or look away as he approached. Mr. Holden set his hands on Cove's shoulders, the touch firm. He furrowed his eyebrows. Bud, you and I are going to talk about every single thought that ever pops up in our heads. For the rest of your life. God damn!
Oh, damn, that's an eternity.
Oh! Fuck, he's crying again. He shook Cove forward and back a bit. Tears slipped down Cove's cheeks, but he was smiling.
What?
No, I don't want that! Mr. Holden began to smile too. It trembled at the corners, but it was genuine. I'm afraid it's the only way. Kyra chuckled, even as she blinked away her own tears. Mr. Holden turned toward her. You better not be thinking you can get away from this, Kyra. The same is gonna apply to you. You can't! He let go of Cove with one hand, while he placed his other arm around Cove's shoulders, then faced Kyra.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, I can. Are we gonna eat dinner now? Can we please eat?
She's just hungry.
I'm hungry. He continued to talk as he walked in her direction, bringing Cove along with him. Aww. This is so cute. Then,
I'm gonna say this. Cove does not look like he believes this hug is genuine.
no.
The face he's given off is the face of, I feel like this is gonna crash and burn.
Then father and son were standing in front of her. Mr. Holden put his other arm around her. Now he had both of them in his arms. If you think the ideas that I actually go with are bad, you two are going to be amazed by the thoughts I decide against all on my own. Oh my god. Kyra jokingly cringed at the concept. Cove smiled tearfully up at his parents. Thanks, Dad.
I'm so glad.
Thank you, son. But hey, you know what I'm thinking of now? We should have dinner!
Yeah.
Cove, wiping his face with the back of his hand, shook his head. God, no. You're an incomprehensible maniac. Mr. Holden laughed, not disputing her words. I'm thinking we should eat that dinner. Yeah! Food!
Oh my god.
I painstakingly made. It's salvageable. I just gotta heat it back up. Kyra sighed
Oh
and
my
exaggerated.
Get these people some food.
Get these people some food.
Oh my god.
Kyra sighed
Oh
in
my God.
exaggerated relief.
Sandy.
That we can manage. Right, Cove? Yeah. Great. We're making progress already.
Well,
Though, I don't even know how I'm going to start making this up to Fox. Carrying that secret for all this time must have been quite the burden to bear. Plus, he didn't actually get any money out of the deal. He didn't take the 20. Yeah, I didn't.
You can give it to him now.
Yeah, give me the money now. Give me the 20 bucks. I'll take your son on a nice date. Give me the 20 now. I'll take him on a nice date. We'll be back at 10.
Is the joke just gonna constantly be we just need 20 bucks?
Yeah. We
That's
just
gonna be
need
the-
$20 more dollars.
That's gonna be the bit for the rest of the series.
Yeah. It's like, geez, I would have had the money, but I was just $20 short.
You know.
I'm not mad about it or anything. It was a hard time for your family. Either way, we will work on it. Okay.
He's like, no, don't drag Gum into it. It was you. It was all you.
Cove ducked his head and spoke towards you. There was a tiny smile on his face. You want to stay for dinner still? Yes, please. My parents aren't home. Neither is Elizabeth. I don't think I can cook. I don't know if 12-year-old me could cook, man.
Can 12-year-old IRL you cook?
Hold up.
No.
Mud Fox.
I could.
Hold up.
12-year-old me
Unfortunately.
could not cook. I could make eggs, pancakes, and I could bake. And that was baking was with adult supervision.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
What?
Mud Fox cook.
I'd love to. Mr. Holden finally let go of his family. Kyra patted him on the back with a content sigh. You're very good boys. I'm so lucky. You're not even married to him anymore. Cove shyly
Yeah.
rubbed his arm while Mr. Holden nervously rubbed his neck. Neither could make eye contact out of bashfulness. In that moment, they really did seem like father and son. Cove's family was nice, you thought to yourself. You were glad that you got to come over. Do I really think that they were nice? That was kind of a lot of issues. Okay, Angie, your turn to pick.
Growing.
Okay. Growing. Maybe I'll get a growth spurt finally.
No, you're gonna stay small.
Fuck.
forever.
Early one afternoon, you found
Let
yourself
us
in the
grow.
living room with your family. Huh?
No.
Did you just ask what is growth?
No.
Oh.
Let us grow.
Oh, okay.
No, you're staying small forever.
It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioner was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. You, your moms, and sister were all lounging around while the TV blared on in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You specifically were... Ooh. I would not...
Draped over the coffee table.
I would not be lying eagle spread on the carpet. I would not be sitting on the cross-legged. I would most likely be on the arm of the couch. I'm gonna be completely honest here. I've sat on the arm of the couch so many times.
I have to.
Elizabeth
my
had
favorite
claimed the...
spot.
What?
That was my favorite spot on the arm of the couch.
Same!
What was your favorite spot on the arm of the couch?
The arm of the couch.
Wait,
The arm of the couch. Like you
you,
just,
you guys sat on the arm.
Yeah.
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 I tried that once and I broke it.
You're bigger than most of us. Ace.
I'm a thicker.
You are
What a
thicker
weird-
and taller, Ace.
Yeah, I don't think a couch is gonna the armrest of a couch is gonna be able to hold you for long.
Yeah.
Elizabeth had
I used to
claimed
do that.
the entire couch for herself. It was too hot to argue over the space, so you didn't bother. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand. Ugh, I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. L.
RIP. I'll start plans for the funeral.
Well, we gotta cut off her legs.
Well, I do
It's
know
time
that-
for amputation. Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly, then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know. It just hurts.
Sweetie.
Angie.
Oh, I'm fucking eating. Fucking shit.
It's always when you put food in your mouth.
Oh my gosh, not again.
It's always when you put food in your mouth.
It's always when I have food in my mouth.
Yep.
I'm just not gonna eat when you play this game. Fucking Christ. Like, oh,
We need
sweetheart.
food.
Mama got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains. You could be taller by next fall. Stop growing. How about that?
Seriously. I know the solution. Just stop growing.
Yeah.
Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Mama's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over to, leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own, maybe even with a nice husband and some kids if she feels like it. She sniffed loudly and wiped at her eye, but you could tell it was just a bit. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or husband. Yeah, she's too much of a bitch.
What?
She only seemed invested in hanging out with a group of friends, not chasing after boys. Mama must
be a
agree
single
with
mother.
you because she shook her head.
No.
Let's not exaggerate. She's still.
She's like 15. She
Does
should
she
be
have a
dating.
boyfriend yet? You should bring home your boyfriend, child.
Yeah.
But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come talk to me about it. Don't come.
Yeah, don't come to your parents. Don't tell your
don't come
parents
to
about
us.
your crushes. They will bully you relentlessly.
As I do now.
Yes, definitely.
Is it
We're
what
always
you do?
willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust. No way! I am not talking to my moms about that. Damn! Mom's jaw dropped. She gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Mama only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all.
Oh, fuck. Hold up.
Did you put more food in your mouth?
No, but I was taking a drink.
No,
I really should not
my
eat while
God.
you're playing this damn game.
you should not.
It really wouldn't be too bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two.
Oh my god,
No.
Mama's by. It's even more like Anju. Every
Slowly,
single day, Ma becomes more like Anju. I don't, but I can listen anyway. Mom snorted at her own joke, while Mama burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and sat up. I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone, thanks.
Wow.
Ow.
Oh,
She strode off toward the staircase, taking the steps 2 at a time. Your mom stared after her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Whoops. Looks like we scared her off with all that romance talk.
Well,
Oh, well, we'll get her next
You watch them titter,
Titter.
titties, with some surprise. Obviously, your mom's liked women, but you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was your first time you'd heard her say something like that. Mama, I always thought you only liked ladies. You like guys too? Mama turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you'd spoken up. She smiled and nodded. Why, jello there, friends. Hello, Pencil. How are you doing today?
Is it too late for me to escape and just put my plate in the sink?
No. Your foresight is right now.
Dang it! Okay. That's right. I like both. Yeah, I like both. No, I don't. I like women.
Alright, speed run putting your plate.
I'll be back.
Run, Andrew, run!
Run as fast as you
How
can.
art thou? I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all doing?
Me? Are you talking about us?
Yes, I'm talking about everyone in general.
I am just looking up weird
It's my time, Chief. I'm back.
You're-
I'm coloring.
I've been looking up Spider-Man video games from
Oh, fun.
the past, from the Wii.
Don't you already have enough of them?
Andrew.
Yes. Oh, Ace is gone. Yeah, what's up?
What hair color are you feeling today?
Purple.
Okay.
Alright, Andrew.
A dark purple,
Oh.
a light purple, it doesn't matter.
But I like your. What? Wait, what?
A light purple, a dark purple, or does
Somewhere in the middle,
okay.
like a neutral purple. But I like your mom most out of everyone. She's special.
Aww.
Oh,
That's
gay.
fucking gay.
Remind me why I'm single.
Mama's smile turned all soft in the corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheeks lightly.
Look, that's gay.
Oh, it was really gay. Mom reached up to cup a hand over Mama's. Even when Mama stopped pulling her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
You're fantastic.
Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you.
Aww.
Aw, the milk.
Fucking sappy. Gay as fuck. These bitches gay.
Good on
Good,
them.
good on them.
Good for them.
Mama
for
beamed,
them.
then kissed Mom on the cheek that she'd been pinching before.
Cringe.
Cringe! Nah, I'd probably laugh. I think it's cute. You chuckled quietly at their little back and forth. They were always saying cutesy stuff like that to each other. Gay.
Cringe.
Mama looked back to you, letting Mom's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you and Mom soon followed after.
Oh, shit. You know, I also hear you. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. Oh, adios, Ace.
Babe, come back.
Oh,
In fact, I think I might. That
she
talk might
fucking
be
knows!
I may need it sooner after all. You already have someone, isn't that right?
She knows!
Damn!
Oh, God! Mom shook her head and elbowed Mama, but it was futile. Meddler.
I left because
I don't have someone! I don't know what you're talking about!
You can't gaslight your mother out of this.
I'd probably just blush. We're just blushing, guys. Mama only giggled and smiled, not looking the least bit apologetic.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
There's no rush, of course. You can take. You can. I can't read. I'm dyslexic.
I know. That's what makes it funny.
You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want.
And you can take all the time you need to read a sentence.
Shut up.
Andrew's really taking that challenge. Andrew's really taking that challenge to heart.
Sorry, my mother walked in. Okay, madre. Okay, madre.
I thought you were just being petty and spiteful and staying quiet.
No, my mother walked in. Don't think. Hold on, wait. Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. That's
Life.
not at all what that says.
Life's nice.
Life's nice like that. It can change and you can learn.
And you can read.
I can.
Mom nodded her agreement.
Cancel
two of us
Fox
are
for
happy to hear you
mocking
out.
my disability.
I mock you all the time.
I know.
The two of us are happy to hear you out. We may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic. At least, most of the time. She gave Mama the weakest scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning.
I'd rather.
I'll just say thanks. I'll think about it.
Wonderful.
Good, that's all we ask for.
Mom let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth and now you, Fox. Do you have to grow up?
Have another. It's that easy.
Yeah!
I don't know. How many kids do they have?
2.
2, Fox and Elizabeth.
Maybe they should have a third.
Yes.
Yes,
Adopt a
children
third
tend to
kid.
do that from time to time. Wait, that's definitely something I would say.
This woman is just becoming more and more like you, Andrew.
God.
Did you like make this one of the moms look like?
Seriously, it's almost like they directly ripped off Andrew to make this mother character.
Is this mother character just an original design, or did you like make her look like AJ?
No, it's an original design. I don't get to customize the mothers.
Yeah, she
Bro,
kind
what
of looks
the
like me.
fuck?
I know she does! Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. Oh fuck, I missed. Oh fuck. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room too. They let you go without a problem, so you made your way up the stairs. You let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. It probably would be a little warmer since you're like up higher and hot air goes up. You couldn't even open your windows since it was hotter outside and you just let the AC all out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by. You thought back to the conversation you'd had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, then turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. Mom, when are my balls gonna drop?
Why would that drop?
Puberty, Moon. Male puberty.
Oh my God.
Oh, Swevin has arrived! Swevin, my beloved!
Hi, Swevin.
Oh, is Swevin here?
Yes, Swevin's in
Oh.
chat.
The chat.
Oh, I thought Swevin was in the call.
No. You were definitely growing alright. It was weird thinking about how you were now in comparison to what you'd been when you were younger. When it came to your body, I was a very slender kid. You shifted to the side, your head still facing forward and continuing the self-evaluation from this viewpoint. I am making myself male and male alone. And that's just the way it was for you. Your fingers brushed over your cheeks, and you stared at the freckles dusting your skin. It was as if they quadrupled in the summertime with all the extra sun. You took a step back.
Do be like that.
True. Finished with your impromptu inspection, you locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side, all things considered. I didn't look too bad. A slight smile tugged at your mouth. Sure, you wouldn't be a model or anything, but you weren't half bad. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. It wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something important to do in this heat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing onto the mattress. Well, that's not gonna make you any cooler. Your brows scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and, to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Fox! There's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is that alright? You perked up at the words, sitting up in your bed. You yelled back to her immediately. No! He can't come over! I'm going through puberty! Just kidding, he can come over. You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyway, because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver.
I
She
might drop another $50.
On what?
Why?
on a bendy figurine.
Fair.
It's from the same company that released the boyfriend ones.
Interesting.
Oh my god, yeah.
Look, there's the ink demon and little baby Bendy. I want them both, so
Wait.
I might drop $100.
Wait, send me the link. I want to see
Adrian,
it. She glanced at Mama, leaning her hip against the counter.
What a pickle.
Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Mama clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words.
Give me a second.
Mother.
I'm sending you the tweet. I'm sending you the tweet.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest.
Uh-huh.
You know how like people are like so they made the balls drop joke here, I'm guessing?
No, I made the balls drop joke.
Oh, and Moon didn't get it. Moon was
Yeah.
texting me like, what does it mean to balls drop? It's like, Moon, that's not how men's voices get deeper. It's testosterone. It thickens the vocal cords.
I truly thought their part just went down.
Yes, if that was the case, a lot of trans women's voices would have yanked up a bunch of notches back to back to kid mode by the time they got their gender reassignment surgery.
Oh my god.
And taking tea would not have the same effect on voices as it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mama.
He's such a good boy. Co never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Wow.
Oh, I know. He's very sweet, but that's what makes it more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging Fox on to behave badly, I think we can both agree that he'd do the right thing in the end. But if Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Fox to be part of the ride, can we really be certain of what call he'd make then?
Yes.
Yes, I think so. Fox helps Cove settle down. He would have gotten himself in even more trouble without him. I agree.
That's true.
Truth.
Thanks.
Truth.
You have a point. Mama just laughed. As she turned away, still snorting, her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Fox. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear shit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I just got here. From the way Mom and Mama exchanged amused glances, you got the feeling that they didn't believe you. Thankfully, they didn't correctly accuse you of lying.
Sure. Well, we'll just get out of the way. You and Cove take care.
You couldn't help but flush when Ma winked. Mom elbowed her, even as a small smile tugged at her lips. Honestly, this lady.
Agreed. She is such a meddler.
Seriously. Your moms whispered
Are you
amongst
a
themselves.
I am a meddler.
Andrew
yeah.
is absolutely a meddler.
I am, yeah.
Oh my
Whis-
gosh.
Whispered amongst themselves as they went down the hall. Eventually, you heard the faint sound of their bedroom door shutting. Now you were in the living room. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. We're gonna do a waiting simulator. That was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. Hey! When you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside to let him pass, giving him a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did, with a fucking hug. Not with a noogie.
Yeah, hug.
Moon, you want me to hug him? I actually do hug
Yes,
people
but
as
it's your-
greetings, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
He does.
He stiffened in your arms, then relaxed seconds after. One would think he'd be used to your hugs after all these years. Hey. His voice was cracked as he struggled to say something. You didn't feel worried about that. It was how he usually reacted when you were close by. Cove sighed and wiped at his face a bit. You noticed the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in the air-conditioned place, even if he had only walked across the street to get here. Is something going on? Why'd you want to come over? I don't want to do anything. Not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around. I thought I could at least do nothing with you. Aww.
Aw.
That's gay.
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 How'd you know I was doing nothing? Maybe I had plans.
Do you?
No. His words were nice and expressed real fondness for you, in a strange sort of way, which was usually the case with Cove. Have you had lunch yet? I was gonna do it soon. He shook his head.
Not really.
I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Oh, then we're definitely having lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Wait,
We can eat
what?
lunch together.
I just found out something.
What?
What did you find out?
The guy who's voicing the voice actors for Donatello and Leonardo in the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie are Gumball and Darwin.
Oh shit!
Oh, yo, I'm not remotely surprised.
Oh,
actually.
it's
That'd
awesome!
Or at least Leo is voiced by the first version of
be Gumball.
Gumball.
Oh, that's so
Like, the-
cool.
That's awesome.
Like season 1 through I think 4 before they recasted him.
That's
Because
sick.
they recasted those two a lot, I think, from what I
They
can
did,
remember.
yeah, a couple times. They had to make a puberty episode just
Uh,
so people wouldn't ask about the Sun and Switch.
yeah.
I love that episode. It's like,
It was a great
I sound like a man and you sound like a depressed donkey on helium.
Ha!
It's like a piglet on helium, not a depressed donkey.
I think it's same there.
Oh my god. Cove nodded, looking content with your suggestion. Okay, cool. As one, you headed into the kitchen. You crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, you two concluded that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. With that settled, you planned to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from, since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was ripe bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grain, gluten-free, pizza pocket.
God, I love
Pizza
sourdough
pocket?
with peanut
I
butter
meant
and
pita,
jelly.
pita pocket. Pita pocket.
Sad.
Could
I
you
got
take?
excited.
Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains, then made your decision. I am a basic bitch. I want cinnamon swirl bread.
I like sourdough.
That doesn't sound basic.
I was
basic.
starting that thinking that I was gonna for the white bread, but then I saw the cinnamon swirl bread and it was like, oh, I need cinnamon swirl bread in my life.
Wait, cinnamon bread?
Cinnamon swirl.
There's a difference.
Fucking
Yes.
awesome. You pulled out the
remember-
cinnamon swirl bread too, setting both items onto the counter. I should make cinnamon raisin bread while my grandparents are gone.
You should.
Then you had to decide what the main direction of the sandwich would go in. Well, I guess since I picked the sweet bread, then I'm gonna make a sweet sandwich. Something sweet would be perfect in this sweltering heat. As for the specific ingredients, marshmallow fluff.
Ooh.
Oh my god, I'm making the sandwich of my dreams.
What's your sandwich of your dreams?
We're doing banana slices, strawberries, marshmallow fluff, and Nutella. Good
Oh
ass
my god.
sandwich. You nodded to yourself with a quiet hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focused intently on assembling your own, for the most part. When you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. Oh, he's a sandwich connoisseur. There were open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. So he's making a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. Nice. That sounded great, even though I can't eat honey. Maybe you'd have made one yourself in a different timeline, where I wasn't allergic to honey. Curiosity satiated, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. A small smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. You guessed it didn't look inedible for him to eat, at least. Done? Yeah.
Cool.
Aww. He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, sitting out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite of his sandwich, chewed, then hummed happily. This sandwich is really good. At least that's something. At this point, you sat down and started on your own sandwich. It was disgusting! No, it was good. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. Obviously. I am just the best at making sandwiches.
I'm kind of curious on how the sandwich would actually taste.
You know what? Just for you, I will make the sandwich myself. At some point. And I will show you what it looks like. I will need to buy marshmallow fluff, though.
Fair.
I'll need to get marshmallow fluff and cinnamon bread. But after that, I will show you. And I will eat it.
Don't you need strawberries?
Yeah. Well, I already have strawberries and bananas at home.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know eat marshmallow fluff in my life.
Really? I've eaten it straight out of the jar. It was awesome.
Is it just marshmallows or?
Yes. He leaned back on his hands while chewing, glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? It seemed the plan of not doing anything at all has already worn thin, despite his lack of enthusiasm. Bacon. I love bacon. Bacon's so good. Like what? He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? Ooh. Okay. Sure. Why not?
Boo.
I'm gonna be honest with you. What the fuck is on your stream, bro?
Hey, Pico, thank you so much for following. I appreciate it so much.
Hello.
You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers with his right hand while keeping a half slice of sandwich in his left.
That's,
Can I pick the phrase? Hate when Twitch unfollows people. So true.
Oh my god, it has the same glitch that YouTube does.
Yeah. You know, YouTube has this terrible glitch of, like, unsubscribing you sometimes.
You should go check if you're subscribed to Foxtail
Yeah.
and GDS. And only those two. Screw the others.
Don't you hate when Discord randomly removes your friends from call?
Yeah.
Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper and began sketching the hangman frame. Then he stopped, pursing his lips in thought. He tapped the end of his marker against his cheek.
Emotional damage!
He watched silent.
The wrong one.
Oh. The betrayal, I've been betrayed. Damn. Ace, don't you hate it when Discord just randomly kicks your friends from calls? You watch silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, and then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. You raised an eyebrow. He suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but he looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on the paper to signify spots for letters. Alright, you can start guessing. Ooh!
How many words is it?
You peered over. His secret phrase consisted of 3 words. First 2 had 3 letters, the last had 4. Ooh, okay. You thought hard about what your first guess would be. Enter 1 letter of the alphabet. Alright, what are we going with first?
A.
A? Okay. We're doing A. You got one.
Yo. Okay.
N.
After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV. It was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that. poor show, playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? You squinted off into the distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cove nodded sleepily, his eyes closed, then opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well, you rested your chin on your open palm, groggily thinking as hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long blonde hair, I think. She was the one solving crimes, like as a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station because someone got arrested. You lapsed into silence, the both of you thoughtful, then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Me neither, and I just saw it. Ooh, okay. I feel like we should go for all the vowels first.
Yeah, get the vowels out of the way.
I'm gonna go with O. Oh. There's an O. Oh my god.
Is it you are cool?
I have no idea. Another round came and went. Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted in a grimace. I feel so sticky. Ugh, I'm gonna be stuck to this floor forever now. You can be my new roomie.
I'll have to charge you rent.
No, these are two good options. Which one are we going with?
I like the roomie.
One or two, chat. One or two.
One or two. Run a poll.
I want one.
Andrew, run a poll.
Okay, give me a minute. I'm pulling it up.
One or two. We're gonna run a poll for which joke we're gonna make.
I misspelled poll.
Oh my god. I'm gonna take a drink of water while the poll runs.
There you go.
Which on?
Ah, fuck. I'm dyslexic. Leave me alone.
Oh my god.
I didn't even pay much attention to that, honestly.
Ah yes, which on? Oh my god, that was funny.
Wait, what did I miss?
We're doing a vote on whether we want to charge him for rent or ask to be his new roomie. We're picking the joke.
Third option.
One or
He
two.
pays all the rent.
No, there's a
and
poll.
Oh. Shit, I closed Twitch. Give me.
Al, the poll is running out, Ace. I don't think you have enough time to vote.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough time for it to load.
Power.
I underestimate your Wi-Fi.
One.
There you go.
1-1. Oh man, an overwhelming 4 votes. I'll have to charge your rent then. Yeah? How much? $50. $20. $20. $20. I can't afford that.
Damn.
Well, you've got to pay up if you want to stick around. Cove shook his head at your terrible pun and went back to the game instead of answering further.
Wow.
Then you returned to the game. All right, Moon, your turn to pick a letter.
N.
N? Okay. Ah.
Mm.
I'm gonna start.
No.
Person.
Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is kind of a creepy game. Why did people come up with it? Why did they play it? I don't know. I'll have to look it up later.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that too. That said, the two of you turned your attention back to the game. Ace, your turn. Pick a letter, any letter.
Q.
Q?
Q?
Pick a different letter. Come on, man.
You said pick any.
Any
Yeah, but
letter
there is
except
no
for
four-letter word
stupid
with
ones.
Why am I being bullied?
You
I guess all
picked Q.
P.
P? Okay.
It's not there.
That's a point for me. Damn it!
I knew it. Okay.
By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too, but now you were getting thirsty. You brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs and get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I don't really want to get up. Mood. Me
God, that's
neither.
a mood.
You looked over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true, I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it.
Drag him, grab him from under the other arms and pull him.
You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. Alright, Andrew, your turn.
Why?
Why? Okay.
Why?
Hey!
Okay, so I am right. Is you are cool?
Enter one letter of the alphabet. We're gonna.
It is either you are cool or you are cute.
Oh!
It's one or the other.
Oh!
Oh, it's you are cute!
Do it.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh my gosh.
This is not a drill. This is not a drill. Red
There's
alert.
a- oh my God.
This is not a drill. This is not a drill. Oh,
Oh
he's
my
getting
God.
he's getting more nervous. He's getting more nervous.
Imagine
You're
if you
definitely
type in
gonna get
C.
it.
Imagine if you
God.
type in C and it's wrong.
Imagine I put an S.
No.
I was ready. Let's go.
Oh.
Let's go! Victory for Andrew!
You are cube.
For Andrew!
You are
You're
cube.
You're cute.
I am cube.
Dubs for Andrew. Andrew is like a god at Hangman. Let's go.
You are
I
cute.
honestly also thought when I saw you, like YOU, I was like, it could be you are cute.
Oh,
I was like, it's you are cool or you are cute. That's the only one I can think of.
Oh, you are cute. That was the phrase COVID spent so long settling on. You stared at it. A few correct letters in, you had a feeling you knew what the phrase was. Still, you felt butterflies in your stomach after seeing it, clear as day on the paper.
Oh.
You took in the words for a moment longer, then you looked up at Cove. Oh!
He's a flustered little guy.
He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze, a smile settling awkwardly on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble. It was all I could think of at the time. Oh. Oh.
Well, I would have fainted, to be honest. If Moon
Same.
did that to me, I would have fainted. I would have just collapsed on the floor, like.
Suddenly you had trouble meeting his eyes too. Your hands came up to hide your flushed features from his sight.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, you're cute.
No, you're cute. You let out a small squeak.
You're cute. Do it. No, you're cute.
Cove smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't. He didn't either. Things started feeling a bit more personal all of a sudden. You looked into Cove's eyes and saw yourself staring back. Do you really think I'm cute?
You didn't say anything. I'm sorry. I'm straight.
Cove didn't crack a smile or tell you he was joking. He just firmly kept his gaze. Yeah. Oh. Finally, he broke eye contact. I've heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people. Guys or girls or whoever.
I don't know.
I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed. Not in a big way, not for everybody. Maybe I have to grow up more, but at least with... You waited, but he trailed off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You frowned, a little disappointed. You wished that he had continued with what he was saying. You shook off the strangeness of this... You shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. I'm tripping over my
I thought
words.
I was dyslexic.
Shut up. Maybe you just don't like anybody, or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Cove seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile that appeared on his lips was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you, looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? He winced
Aw.
and seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that.
God.
You considered his question carefully. Do you know who or what you liked?
Men.
Men. Where's the men option? Him! Exactly, pencil. I'm asexual. So...
Physical attraction isn't something asexuals look into.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say, we'll just do.
There's only one person you'd ever have those kinds of feelings for.
No. Romantic attraction.
Okay.
But specifically, when it came to how you felt towards boys, I find them attractive.
You generally weren't interested in guys, but they were the exception. I'm sorry.
Now you felt about
Now
girls.
you felt towards girls.
I will date girls. I have dated girls.
Same.
I have
For
never
people who aren't
dated a girl
exclusively
and-
male or female. I hadn't thought about being with someone who's non-binary, honestly. You returned your attention to Cove. He was patiently waiting for your response. I'll explain how I feel, you know? He listened intently, taking in every word as you tried to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up a bit when you mentioned having some interest in romantic relationships. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about this when all we started out was just playing hangman. I mean, you're the one who wrote "you are cute" on the paper, so...
There you go,
Yeah.
there's your...
But it was good, I think. I think so, too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. Is it bad to say that this reminds me of the stories I used to read in middle school? No.
Ah, yes, this is fanfiction.
It's a cute story. It's a very
This
cute
is
story.
fanfiction.
It's just a wholesome little story.
This is just a wholesome little dating sim. It's adorable.
I feel like it could end badly if you really wanted it to.
It probably could.
Yeah, but I'm not
Like,
going
you
to
could
let
have
it.
ended this relationship like 5 times.
Yeah, seriously. So, have you learned anything interestingly recently? Yeah, actually. I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took a lighter turn after that. It felt like you got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove. With some minor complaint, you both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow, you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove
I
turned
thought he
towards
was
you.
glued to the floor.
Yeah. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is in here now. Sounds good. I could really use some fresh air. Are you gonna
No,
parkour out the window again?
Yeah.
The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. You stepped outside, one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house.
Sorry.
This time of day, it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin and you relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it here. I really love it out here.
Moon. Is that the same shade? I can't tell.
What?
I think you made our teeth gray.
Huh?
I did.
Moon was coloring something I drew.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the we're gremlins thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, watched you draw that.
Great.
Cove smiled. Tendrils of his hair danced with the wind. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again.
homosexuality.
I'm glad I met you, Fox. You're really important to me, you know. Oh.
Yeah. Good for that.
You're special to me, Cove.
I'm going to die.
Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened, though, you knew he heard you. Now kiss!
Now kiss! Yeah!
Then Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Oh!
It's gonna happen.
Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. Oh, that was so cute! That was so cute! Oh!
And then summer ended.
No,
Again?
there's one more.
Yeah, there's one more.
You've got
Family.
family.
There is no kiss.
The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky, and you closed your eyes, enjoying the mix of the heat with the pleasant breeze that drifted past you. You and Lee had spread out a blanket on top of one of the hills behind your house, and had been relaxing there for a while now. Lee had come over earlier in the day, and while a range of activities had been discussed, from staying home to heading down to the beach, a picnic on the hill had been the choice that you both settled on. A small spread was laid out in front of you, some bottled water, soft drinks, as well as chips and sliced fruit. BRB. Okay. Second best step 2 moment without DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cute. That was adorable.
That was wholesome.
You sat up and reached for a snack, listening to Lee talk away about the musical she had gotten to see a few days ago. She saw Hamilton. It was unbelievable. There was singing and dancing and crazy stunts, and it was all done live right in front of my face. Maybe one day we could go together. I've got to see some more shows like that. You smiled at Lee's enthusiasm, knowing how much she enjoyed singing and performing. She
should watch Beetlejuice.
I love Beetlejuice. And she was good at it too. You'd gotten the chance to hear her sing a couple of tunes, but you knew she put a lot of effort into it. I like singing. I don't feel like I'm very good, but I like singing. That didn't stop you from doing it, though. I wonder if maybe we could put on our own show. Think of how fun it'd be. We could perform for our parents and ask our friends and some other people to come watch too. It'd totally work. I don't know about that. But wouldn't showing off to everybody be fun? The thought of an audience made you feel queasy. Not really.
Straight.
Are you sure?
Stage fright.
You have so many skills you could show off to the masses. I bit my tongue. I bit my tongue as I was saying that I have so many skills.
Oh, are you okay?
I'm fine. I just bit my tongue. It kind of hurts a little. I give into peer pressure very easily. I guess I'll do it. You could see that Lee was really excited about the idea. So, with a small nod of your head, you agreed to go along with it. I'm gonna sing. Do you want it too? Or maybe do something else? I'll make a backdrop. Yeah, I'll make a backdrop. Yes! That'd make it a real show! I'll paint something. You thought of your painting kit back home. You could definitely use that to make a something for the show. You just hoped there'd be a large enough piece of paper or cardboard for a backdrop. Is there anything else that's coming to your head? One more thing. I can help with costumes. That's a great job for you. You always dress so fashionably. That is a lie.
Guys, it's
that
not
is a
true.
lie.
I can't
That
confirm
is
that
a
it's indeed not
big
true.
ass lie. Is there anything else that's coming to your head? No, that's all. The two of you ran back to your house to grab the supplies you needed, dodging your mom's amused questions before heading back out to the blanket to get started. You'd stuffed your bags full of assorted clothes and accessories to create outfits for the show, or at least get a start on it. Lee and you discussed the plans in detail, settling on a song first and then practicing out parts for the show. Oh, it's already nighttime. The afternoon passed quickly, and the sun dropped lower and lower in the sky. And after having thoroughly worked it out how the show was going to go, you decided to take a break. Oh, you know, we should have invited Cove to watch us practice our show. He could tell us if it's bad before we put on the real thing. I'm glad he didn't see. You guessed that would have been okay. It might have been nice for Cove to be there, but you felt weird when thinking about him watching the show. We could ask him to watch it another time. Maybe. It's too bad Derek isn't in the neighborhood today. I like him. I like him too. He's cool. I knew you would. But, speaking of boys we like, what's the relationship status between you and Cove? Oh, damn. Already asking the hard-ass questions. Is it good?
Just get the worst questions out of the way, huh?
It's good. I'm so happy for you.
My
But
God.
like, really, are you gonna be telling him you have a crush on him anytime soon or what? Bruh! Bruh! I don't have a crush on Cove.
You didn't see it.
You weren't sure if you wanted to tell Cove or not. It was a big risk. You had no idea what would happen afterwards. Whatever you're thinking, you know he has a crush on you too, right?
Oh my God.
Eh?
Fuck, that's how-
You didn't say
That
anything.
seems about right.
You didn't say anything, wondering about the possibilities instead. The two of you talked a little more about Cove, amongst other topics, and you found that it was nice having someone to speak with about these sorts of things. Finally, you both decided to pack everything up and head back home for the evening. Lee talked excitedly about the show as you did, and you thought back on what you had already accomplished for it. You could definitely do with a little more practice, but what you had so far was a solid foundation for the performance. Oh god, she looks so judgmental. Upon walking in the front door, you were met by your moms and Elizabeth hovering around each other in the living room. Tension hung thick in the air as the three of them turned to you and Lee, frowning slightly. You had interrupted something. Exactly what? You weren't sure. Oh god. I hope I'm not in trouble.
They were a cult. Cult.
Wow, who died?
Yeah, that's
that would be my kind of humor. Just, wow.
Hi, Fox. Hello, Lee. Welcome back. The room fell quiet again, with no one quite knowing what to say. You felt incredibly awkward, but the silence didn't last long. You don't have to stop just because those two are here. There's no reason to try keeping it a secret.
Oh my god, she has a boyfriend!
Oh shit! Elizabeth was mad, with her arms folded defensively over her chest, but your mom's nodded in agreement with her. Oh shit!
Elizabeth was asking about her parents. Parents.
You know, I kind of forgot for a second that these were two women, so I was like, wait, you're adopted?
Well, this is awkward.
Wow.
This is an unfortunate turn.
Her biological ones. Oh.
Oh no.
The world spun around you at the news. You couldn't understand. Why was this happening now? When you glanced at Lee, she shuffled her feet uncomfortably, as though she didn't know if she should be there or not anymore. You didn't know either. Your mom's had always been open and honest about the fact that neither of them had given birth to you or your sister, but the details hadn't been fully explained before. It made sense that Elizabeth didn't know a lot about her biological parents and wanted to know more. You just hadn't ever thought that you'd accidentally stumbled into it. Elizabeth looked at your parents expectantly. She wasn't going to let the unintentional interruption derail things. We don't want to keep that information from you either. It's your right to know your past, but we did want to wait until you asked us to hear yourselves. Well, it's happening now, so... Your mom shared a nervous
she's
glance.
so bitter about it. It looks like she's salty.
And Mama took a quick breath before speaking again.
Oh, so I adopted you from the Philippines when you were just a baby.
Elizabeth dropped her arms, her eyebrows shooting upward in surprise. Wait, I wasn't born here?
No.
Not remotely surprised. No, you weren't.
You could clearly see that your sister was appalled by this information. You struggled even more with what to do or how to react. Am I gonna have to pass some test to even be a citizen?
No.
No, you were adopted into the country. We took care of things. You're already a citizen. You have nothing to worry about.
I followed all the laws when it came to bringing a child into the U.S. Nothing can be held against you.
Elizabeth.
Lies! I snuck you in illegally.
Oh my god. Elizabeth sighed, placated
I
with the
jumped the border.
information, but still far from happy. Who were my parents, as people? Why did they put me up for adoption in the first place? Ma softly put her hands over Elizabeth's shoulder, trying to provide some support before she gave her the answer.
I am so sorry.
I'm so sorry, sweetie. Your parents were reported to have died. They didn't go into detail on the specifics of how, but you were an orphan.
Holy shit.
Oh.
Damn.
Damn.
Do it in like 5 seconds.
I wish we had better news for you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was torn between emotions, her eyes filled with tears as she threw her hands in the air, settling on enraged. Great, so I can never meet them, even if I wanted to. Not that I could have anyway, since they lived in another part of the world when they were still alive. Elizabeth turned her back on you and your moms and stormed out, sprinting up the stairs into her room before anyone could stop her.
I have to go talk to her.
Jeez.
No.
Mama immediately started to follow her, but Mom gently held her by the arm and shook her head. We should give her a little space to process it all. Now hug? Yeah, seriously.
Jesus Christ.
What? Okay, what's the what? Why was she so determined to find out about her biological parents?
Because she knows she's adopted and wants to know where she came from?
Yeah, at some point, adopted children are gonna want to know why their parents aren't talking to them.
Yeah. Your mama's head hung low, but she stopped walking. With Elizabeth now gone, the two of them seemed to remember you and Lee were still standing awkwardly off to the side. I'm sorry you had to see all that. It's not how I expected it would have happened when the time came. But since it's the topic of the day, Fox, is there anything you'd like to ask?
You deserve to know after all.
Lee patted your back and gave you a supportive look. I honestly don't know. I feel like if I was put in this situation, I would want to know if my parents were dead too. Cause cause it's like, you know, if my sister's biological parents aren't around, and that's how she got put up for adoption, then I feel like if I was put in that situation, I would be running with questions in my head on why I was put up for adoption. You know?
I mean, really up to you. This is your game.
I'm gonna put I want to know. I want to know the lore.
Lore!
Lore! BRB again. Okay, Clover. Your parents both nodded and synced your reply, ready to talk. I can leave if you want to have things be private. Thanks. Lee smiled in understanding before heading down the hall, going to wait in another room until it was over. You turned to face your parents again, preparing yourself for what they were about to tell you. Mama was the first to speak, her voice quivering with emotion.
You were adopted as a baby, but 2 years after Elizabeth, we used a different organization that time. You were adopted within the U.S.
We're sorry to tell you, Fox. Your parents had also passed away. No other family member took you in, if there were any. Damn, my parents dead too! Holy shit!
Lord, depressing.
That's why we wanted to wait until you asked. We didn't want to suddenly drop that in your lap. We wanted you to be prepared. That is completely understandable, honestly.
Honestly valid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm back.
We're sorry, Fox.
You didn't kill them, right?
That would be me.
It's not
Like,
your fault.
hey,
You didn't kill them, right? Of course. Yeah, I killed your parents because I wanted you as my
No, my ass would start bawling.
my ass would be like, you didn't kill him, right? And then cry.
Yeah. A lump formed in your throat just as warm tears started falling over your cheeks. You wiped them away with the back of your hand, sniffling quietly. Mama.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I was looking at TikTok. Thank you for listening, Fox.
If there's anything else you want to know, all you have to do is ask. We'll do our best to answer any questions you have. Fox would just dunk on their ass. I would not.
Okay.
How are you feeling now? Are you gonna be okay?
You continue to cry.
She sobs.
You held that anger rose inside you. You definitely weren't okay. Just he says.
I don't
Fox
think
says-
I'd be mad, honestly.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, yeah. What if you had no control over that?
I just
death?
think your sister has a temper.
yeah, like I personally like I wouldn't be mad about that. I would just be fucking crying because you know. Because you said you'd start bawling. Get it? Funny joke.
Yo, Fox would start bawling on his parents.
Oh my god. Your
It's
eyes
a
are
slam
swollen from
dunk.
the tears, but you couldn't find it in you to stop more from falling. Your mom's looked just as sad, as though the tears might start for them as at any moment. No one seemed to have any words after that.
Went up to your room.
Oh yes, go see Cove.
Go see Cove. Go see your
Go see
boyfriend.
Cove.
Here's the thing, when I'm sad, I want comfort. So,
Yeah.
I'd probably either stay with my mom's or go to see Cove. Just because it's
Okay.
like, I'm really sad. But,
Currently, your mothers are the closest.
yeah. I would honestly probably stay with my mom's. But Pencil is really intent on me seeing Cove.
Yeah, I'm also very intent on you seeing Cove.
So we're gonna go see Cove.
Kiss.
You know, I helped
Kiss.
him through his shit with his dad. He can help me through my grieving.
For
Kai-
parents that you don't even know.
Yeah. More than anything, in that moment, you wanted to see Cove. No one could be there for you in the way he could. You
Aw.
turned on your heel and without another
God.
word headed toward
Alright,
the front
fuck
door.
me then.
Can you tell Lee I'm going to be on my own for a little while?
Sure thing.
Sure thing. Take all the time you need. We'll keep her company. Once outside, you strode across the street purposefully. Cove's house set in your sights.
This is what he
After
found
you
out
raised a
in
hand to
detail.
knock on the door, it took only a few moments for Mr. Holden to answer it, giving you a broad smile. Hi,
He was
Dov. Cliff's
He was
face fell
talking, he's
suddenly.
like, you want to see my son?
Yeah, he could tell something was wrong, but he didn't say anything else. Instead, he looked back towards the hallway where you knew Cove's room was located. Cove, Fox is here. After calling for his son, he turned back to you with an encouraging thumbs up. He won't be long. As promised, it didn't take long before footsteps echoed down the hall, and Cove's head of green hair appeared before you all. He looked ahead to see you standing there with his eyes widened. You guessed he had already noticed you'd been crying. Fox? Cove pushed back his dad to stand with you outside the door, watching you with concern etched all over his face. You kids be safe. If you need anything, you know where to find me. Pencil's going a little crazy.
Wait, what? What is he saying?
He
What is
gave
Pencil saying?
He gave you
Like
a kind...
Cove.
Oh my god.
Just a spam of Cove.
He gave you a kind smile before softly shutting the front door, giving you some privacy. Cove stepped closer still and spoke cautiously.
What's wrong?
My parents are dead!
Just instantly, my parents are dead.
Yeah.
Rip the
They're just
Band-Aid
like-
off, Fox. I've never stirred you wrong before.
No.
No.
Cove's forehead furrowed in concern at your words. Well, I'm here. You can tell me. My mom and dad, who gave birth to me, they're dead.
Oh no.
Without having to say anything else, Cove reached out and pulled you into a tight embrace, his familiar warmth enveloping
Aw.
you. I'm sorry, Fox.
Kiss.
His words were whispered
No.
comfortably into your shoulder.
Terrible timing. This man.
We just fucking crying again, man. I'm very much a crier. You pressed your face into the crook of his neck, unable to stop the tears. The hold he had on you tightened. Can
I'm not a crier. We
talk
probably
somewhere
would've been
else?
communicating at this point.
just like a dog, that's rough, lol. You felt uncomfortable huddling around the entrance of Cove's home. That feeling didn't seem to be a problem, though. Yeah. Cove took you
One
by the
time
arm and
monster
encouraged...
shocked by being upset that I threw it
Oh.
into a lake.
Bruh.
Then my mom was like, "Where'd the other croc go?" And I was like,
Oh my god. Cove took you by the arm and encouraged you along behind him. You followed without any protest. You headed toward the hills, where you and Lee had spent the majority of your day. Things seemed so different then. Only a couple hours ago, you wondered how everything had changed so drastically. You took a seat in the grass beside Cove, who bent his legs and rested his arms on them before he turned to you again. Can you explain everything to me? You nodded softly before taking in a heavy breath and launching into the story. Cove sat quietly and listened attentively, nodding every now and then or taking in a sharp inhale. It took a long time for you to relay the details. Dozens of stars were pinpointed in the sky as the night wore on. The silence settled between you as Cove sat quietly for a moment, contemplating everything you had said. When he finally spoke, his volume was quiet, drifting through the night towards you. Fox.
I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry about what happened to your parents. So sorry. He stopped suddenly and took a deep, shaky breath, and you got the impression that he was struggling with what was right to say.
No kiss.
You're not.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I'm sad that I'll never get to know them. You know?
Yeah.
Where's the throw the croc into the lake house?
I'll never find out what they're doing or what they're like as people. It's just all gone. Grief's the best romantic atmosphere. Fox, you're not doing anything wrong. You know that, right? I think that you can be as sad as you want for as long as you need, or you can feel okay about it whenever you want to. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair as he looked out over the ocean.
It's okay.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever you feel about it is how you feel about it. You don't have to force yourself to be different. Should we cry more or should we nod?
Cry! Start sobbing!
More crying!
Yeah.
His words made a lot of sense. You knew that despite everything you were going through, you would be okay. Even as the tears slowly rolled down your face, that thought comforted you. Cove smiled at you a little. You could tell he was trying to be comforting. And your moms definitely don't. It doesn't matter if you're not blood or related. You're definitely family. I can see that. And I hope you can too. You felt the reassurance in his eyes. You stayed on the hill together a little longer, looking out over the ocean and the stars that shone brightly above it. After talking about the situation with someone who wasn't directly a part of it, you started to see things in a different light. Above all, you were glad to have Cove's support, and to know you could count on him if you needed it. Hey. You better be part of the family later, if you know what I mean.
Oh my god.
All of a sudden, the sudden voice of your sister behind you made you jump. You saw her standing a little way away. She walked closer. You didn't quite know what to do or what she was planning on saying.
So?
Would you mind going? I just want to talk to Fox. You can come back. It's not going to be forever or anything. Cove seemed equal parts concerned and skeptical. Leaving now wasn't a concept that thrilled him. I'm just gonna fucking nod. If she wanted to talk to you in private, it was obviously about something important. He waited until the two of you were alone before fixing an inquisitive look. Elizabeth folded her arms, looking you over. Did Mom tell you about your parents too? Mine are also dead. We can trauma bond.
Hey, trauma bond.
Hey! Elizabeth broke eye contact
I
after
share
that.
my trauma, you share your trauma. This is how we bond.
I love trauma bonding.
Me trauma, Stu trauma, we all get trauma.
Yeah. Why did you want to talk to me? Elizabeth raised an eyebrow at the question, as though the answer should be obvious. I was worried about you. I was the one who brought it up, but I made you deal with whatever was left when I was gone. She sighed, glancing upwards for a moment before settling on you once more. I wanted to ask you what happened without everyone breathing down our necks. It was pretty crappy of you to just bail.
Oh my god.
There's just the asshole options I would pick because that would be me in this situation. It's like, it's pretty crappy for you to just dead,
Yeah.
to be honest.
She stuck up her nose a little at that, but her smile was soft. All of this, it upset me. She slipped back into a scowl. I'm sorry, Fox. It's a pretty depressing topic. Yeah. You have to be born in the US to become president. What? You had never heard of that dream of hers before. She noticed your bafflement and continued. I get I was never gonna be president, but it just feels weird. Having stuff taken away, not even getting a chance at it. I don't like having to know that when I was born, I was gonna have a completely different life. So different, I can't even think about what it'd look like in my head. I would have spoken another language, lived away from everything I've ever seen here, and had someone else as my sibling. Like having birth parents, ayo! And then my parents died, and I was adopted, and the life I got became a totally new thing forever. I can't go back to what it was, even if I wanted to. A heaviness settled between you and the person who became your sister. You knew exactly how she felt. It was a confusing feeling to have lived one way for as long as you can remember, but not having it be what was originally yours. Elizabeth watched you seriously. She was still trying to make sense of this to you. And herself. I don't know why today was the day. Nothing came up to make me ask that question. It's just something I've had in my head for a while. When it was finally just me and Mom's in the living room, I just kind of said it. Finally, and there you go. She shifted from one foot to another, relaxing her stance just a bit. She also spoke more gently. Learning about them and what happened doesn't change about how I feel about our family, Fox. She smirked, fixing you with sharp eyes. I already figured a long time ago that our moms were our biological parents. That wasn't news. God, I should hope you figured that out.
I sure hope so.
Technically, one of them could have been related to you. That is true. She does have the skin tone of Ma, so.
Yeah.
I still don't know.
Nothing about the family I was first born in would have made me decide that this wasn't my family anymore. If you had hoped you'd be free of my big sisterly status, don't think you're so lucky.
Oh my God.
She bumped her shoulder against yours playfully, her lips tilted at the corners.
You'll always be my little brother.
Oh!
No.
I didn't expect the voice actor to say that. Fuck.
Head pets.
Oh. They're really gonna make me cry.
Sob.
Game is very emotional.
I will hug Elizabeth. It took a few seconds, but she gave you a quick squeeze in return.
Pat.
You'll always be my family, too. Chuckling, she seemed pleased with how the conversation had gone in the end. Ready to head back home? It's been a long day. You gave her a nod.
Come on.
Come on, you two. Let's go. You walked home together in a comfortable silence down the well-worn street. The familiarity of it all felt nice. When you stepped through the door, you found your mom sitting quietly together at the kitchen table. Their heads snapped up, and they got to their feet to meet you, Ma giving you a careful smile.
We're so glad to see you. What, you were expecting him not to come home?
Oh my
Yes,
god.
they ran away. Never to come
No,
back.
my son ran away.
I'm sorry for walking away.
That's alright, sweetheart.
We're just happy to have you here again. Mama then came over and wrapped her arms around you and Elizabeth, giving you a tight hug. It didn't take long for Mom to join in, putting her arms around the both of you.
Love you.
We really couldn't have asked for better kiddos. We love you. I'm gonna fucking cry.
This is
More
why
than we
I
could ever
don't-
say.
This is why I don't play these.
I'm gonna
these kind of
cry.
games. Yeah, this is exactly why. The emotions, they're just too good. Fuck these kind of games.
I
Fuck
love
'em.
you too. It was a nice moment, and you enjoyed it for as long as you could. They both pulled back eventually and grinned at the two of you, and you knew then that you had each other, and you always would. Hey, I hope you're alright.
Oh, you're still here? I would have thought you'd gone home. Look how late it is.
Lee came up towards you, a soft smile plastered on her face. Are you okay, Elizabeth? Elizabeth rolled her eyes and huffed a breath. You knew she wasn't used to showing her vulnerable side.
Fine.
I'm doing fine. Lee nodded, though you could tell she didn't quite believe her. I love giving Elizabeth a Valley Girl voice.
Oh my gosh.
Indeed.
What? Oh! Took you a second to process that you even said anything. Well, now, since we're all here, how about we do something together as a family?
That sounds like an excellent idea. We should have some fun before the
God.
night's over. Oh god, it's family board night.
Family bonding. We're about to no longer be family if we
Seriously,
bring out the
we're
Monopoly.
gonna fucking play Monopoly and everyone's gonna hate each other at the end.
And then bring out Uno as the double whammy killer.
I love the
And
sound
then
of that.
one-
Okay. Oh, Cove's still here. Yay!
Oh, yo!
Cove looked a little bashful, likely over being included as part of the family, but he tried not to pay much of attention to it. Why not?
I mean, you might as well just get married.
Yeah.
Just get married.
Yeah! You had the smile that threatened to tilt your lips, knowing that Elizabeth must have been in a good mood if she hadn't even teased Cove for being part of it. And no matter what she could have said about it, you wanted him to be here. He was someone who is really important to you.
Yay!
Who's got a suggestion?
It should be something we could do in the house with everyone in the same room. Uno.
You suddenly
Let's
remembered the
just
show
destroy
you
our
and Lee had
relationship.
been working on earlier. Maybe we could do our show.
Oh.
A show? This is the first time we're hearing of this. I'm intrigued.
Wonderful.
It would be amazing if you put on a show for us to watch. Yeah, let me turn on the TV real quick.
Oh yeah, I need to see what you've cooked up. That'd be cool. You smiled at Lee, who returned the gesture while bouncing on her heels in excitement. Let's take some seats and we'll get everything together. Your moms collected the chairs from around the dining table and set them in a row in the living room. There was enough space for the show. While they did that, you and Lee quickly gathered the supplies you needed and rehashed the plan one last time. You listened through the song you had chosen one last time. The backdrop you had prepared earlier was also ready to go now that it was needed. Finally, you had changed into the outfits you had picked out. When the two of you returned to the living room, everyone was sitting and chatting amongst themselves while they waited. The group quieted down when you and Lee stood in front of them on your makeshift stage. Lee was buzzing quietly with excitement beside you. I'm nervous. No matter how small that audience was, it was still all eyes on you. Okay, so welcome to our show. We only came up with it today, but we promise it'll be good. No refunds!
Give that money, give the money back.
Laughter rippled through the mini audience. Well, gosh, guess no more drama. Then you nodded at Lee and that you were ready to begin. Lee took in a deep breath, waiting the few beats it took to get into the song, and then started singing. Your outfits gave a special element to the performance. When the performance was over, Lee took your hand in hers, and the two of you bowed deeply together. Everyone gave you a round of applause and cheered for an encore. When you straightened yourself up, you were happy to see that even Elizabeth was clapping for you. Bravo! Bravo!
Good job.
You are so talented.
Fuck, I wish I could hear that outside of a video game.
I've
Anyway.
already told you you're talented before.
I know.
I'm offended.
No! Your family rose from their seats and came over to congratulate you more directly. You were beaming from ear to ear. Cove was the first one to approach, stepping up to you and Lee with a smile on his face.
It's nice.
Nice job. Thank you. Hey, were you the one who picked the clothes? Yeah, that was me. Cove smiled, content over his guess being correct.
Not bad.
I thought so. It was good. You couldn't help but feel flattered that he could recognize your talents so easily. Your parents gushed about how great everything was and thanked you for sharing it with them. Elizabeth was complimentary in her own way, although she did describe the show as cute, which you knew she meant as kind of kiddie. You laughed it off, however, and were just happy that everyone had a nice time. I totally didn't tear up during this moment. In that moment, you couldn't have been more pleased to be part of the family you had. Yes, I did tear up during this little story. And then summer ended.
I was gonna say this. I hate visual novels not because they're bad, but because they make me feel things I don't like feeling. They make me
I
feel
like
sad.
feeling emotions.
Right?
I don't-
Romance is something I don't like dealing with.
I think they're cute.
But yet this is so fucking wholesome.
There was no
wholesome.
denying it.
It's
Today was
almost
the very
like
last
my
day of
fault.
summer. Tomorrow you were heading to class. I'm excited. I like school. Though summer had been fun, you had taken your fill, and now you were looking for a fresh excitement. A new school year was full of potential. You got dressed, I have no idea what that word is. The day before
I
you,
have
but
no idea
complimenting
either.
what day lay ahead of you tomorrow. Life was sure going to be different. You had come to think of summer vacation as a norm, but school stretched out for the majority of the year, whereas the summer vacation was just a break in the middle. So rather than it being different, it was kind of a return to the normal. What did your normal life really mean? You considered how fondly your moms talked about their summer vacations as kids. You dimly recognized that one year the pattern of school and summer itself would be over for good. It was hard to imagine. You'd gotten distracted, one arm still out of a sleeve. You pulled it through and put your mind back to the present. This season had brought about plenty of changes on its own, like Kyra's visit, though that too was coming to an end today. Cove? No Cove husband? Or Cuzbando? Yeah. Cuzbando!
Oh my god.
So, just kidding, I need to-
Mine wasn't made up on how you feel about her. Some of her mannerisms grated on you, but you liked other things. It was hard to come to a conclusion. Covespend! I like that one. We'll call him the Covespend. You finished dressing, which was good. Cove would be there any moment. You'd agreed to see his mom off together. Officially, the plan was that he would come over to bring you round to his house when she was ready to set off, but you both knew that you'd be hanging out for at least a little while beforehand. Kyra's visit had troubled Cove when it first happened. It had been a sudden change thanks to Mr. Holden's famous tendency to surprise people. But once he was able to adjust, he'd been in pretty good spirits with her around. It was a relief for everyone. The next thought that crossed your mind was... There we go. You couldn't wait to see him. You bounded down the stairs, your hand gliding over the rail. You wanted to make sure you got there first. If you didn't hurry, your moms might answer it. It was only a few minutes later when the doorbell rang. As you'd chosen to stand behind it and wait for Cove, there was no delay in pulling it open. Cove was there, just as you had expected. Seeing you, he smiled quietly.
Hey.
Hi, Cove. Come on in. Once he'd stepped inside, you beckoned for him to follow you upstairs. Back up in your room, you sat down on your bed and waited for Cove to settle in as you knew he would. With other guests, you might have offered them a seat, but you and Cove were long past those tentative states of friendship. Your room was as familiar to him as his own. You watched as Cove sat down in your desk chair, his preferred spot. He rolled it closer to the bed to make it easier to chat, tweaking the angle so that he was facing you fully. Once happy with the position, he leaned in towards you, hand held in his lap. His actions weren't the ones of someone who had planned on moving from his spot anytime soon, even though you had an appointment to keep together that day. When is your mom leaving?
Don't worry about it.
We've got some time. She's still in the shower and she's still got a shower and stuff before she goes. She didn't want me to just keep hanging around while she was doing that. He lifted his head, gaze drifting out through the window, and chuckled. I can't believe she's already leaving. Just when I'm getting used to her being there every day. He leaned back in the chair, a wry smile tickling his cheeks. You nodded. He shook his head, as if shaking off the topic like a dog whipping off water following a dip in the sea. That was an interesting metaphor. The conversation lapsed into another comfortable lull. Cove swung his feet underneath the seat of the chair, eyes resting on you. Having him over here was so nice. No matter how you spent the time, you always felt better for being in his company. You couldn't help but adore him, both as a friend and in a way that plucked at your heart, a vague yearning for more. Maybe it was because summer was almost over that your feelings were rushing in on you now, like high tide at the end of a long day. Summer was such a meaningful time for the two of you. Not only because it was when you first met, but because it was a season that you could spend almost entirely as you pleased, and you both chose to spend it together. We're not admitting yet. Maybe one day it would be different, but for now you'd stay quiet. Whether that day came next week or next year, you wanted to wait until the time felt right to you. Because I like torturing you, Moon. Wait, what? Was that like a huge pop point or something? Who's leaving? Cove's mom was there for the summer, and so she is leaving now because it is the end of summer. The two of you tried to find something to say. Luckily, it didn't end up being that hard. This was a really nice summer. Totally. Glad we got to spend so much time together. Cove, still nestled cozily in your chair, smiled at your response. No more Cove's bend. Damn. How are your fish doing? Really good. Things in the tank are stable and everybody looks healthy. That was nice to hear. You learned from Cove how hard it was to maintain an aquarium. Boris has been busy. He keeps darting between the plants and out again when I walk by, like a game of peekaboo. I named the fish Boris. And
Boris?
Yeah.
Boris!
Boris!
Wait, you had a chance to write the name?
Yeah, I had a chance to name one of his fish, and I named it Boris.
Yo!
I know! Or hide and seek. Boris! Yeah. Cove idly glanced out of the window. He gave a resigned sigh. It's gonna be harder to surf, you know. With school, it getting colder out. I don't want to get rusty. I like surfing, but I wish it liked me.
Yeah.
Nah, I feel like being
funny.
dramatic. I don't know how I'm gonna go on without surfing. I wish I could do it more outside of summer. He gave a light smile, coupled with a shrug as a response. Fox, Cove! The sudden call from downstairs caught you both unaware. You'd nearly forgotten the world outside your room. From the guilty look on his face, Cove had done the same. Just had a call. Cove's mom is ready to go. If you're quick, she might keep the mandated motherly smothering to a minimum.
X to doubt.
You doubted that, but it was nice that Mom and Miss Priest had their strange sense of humor in common. Your eyes met Cove's. Wordlessly, you headed down the stairs together. Boris, the beloved. We love Boris in this household.
Boris is literally Fox's favorite character.
Boris is my favorite boy. I love him. Each step on the way there was painfully slow, like he was trying to delay the inevitable. His whole body tensed leaving the house, and Cove froze altogether before you could cross the street.
Oh.
The door's open. Dad must be taking her stuff out. He swallowed hard. She's really gonna leave. X to doubt.
She has to work.
Gay, homosexual, gay.
You felt a small shiver ripple through his body as the warmth from your hand sank in. Cove looked at you like he was hoping you had a solution for how he was feeling, and all you could do was give him his arm a squeeze for support. After that, some of the conflicting warring on his face eased a bit. Together, you went across the street and inside his house, finding his parents in the living room surrounded by his mom's packed things. Hey kids! Good timing. I just called the taxi.
Hi.
Wait, so Cove's Bend is staying, but no more Cove's mom? Yes. Cove's mom is leaving, but Cove's Bend is here. And hi, Fox. Hi, Fox. So glad I get to see you today. It was fabulous getting to know you this summer. I finally got to put a face to the name I've heard so many times. He's gonna blush. I'm calling it. Ah, damn. He winked. Cove pouted on cue over the teasing.
Bye.
Bye. I'm happy I got to meet you too. Hopefully it won't be long before we see each other again. Nodding, Kyra turned her attention back to her boys. Don't forget to invite me to the wedding! She patted Cliff on the arm with a warm smile. Then she enveloped Cove in a crushing hug. Initially, Cove squirmed to break free from her grip, but his mom was unfazed and kept him locked in place. Heartbeats later, he gave in and hugged her back tightly.
I'm so glad.
I'm so happy this trip was a success. Cliff looked like he was bursting with pride.
Oh yeah, because you totally didn't lie to your son about it.
Well, not a 100% success, but
No,
still a
kiss
passing
for the
grade, I think.
memes, you know.
Thinking back on everything that happened this summer, he started to look sheepish. Cliff scratched the side of his head, and an awkward chuckle escaped Cove. There were ways it could have gone smoother, but I'm still keeping that in mind for the future.
All right.
Good for you, Cliff, and I'll be trying harder to stay more in the loop. You watched as Cove smiled softly at both his parents, and you felt relieved seeing how much the whole family had come together since you first met them. Despite any underlying troubles, love was still there. After that, it wasn't long before the taxi arrived, rolling up in front of the house and in clear view of the open door. Kyra stood up, smiling sadly. Well, that's my ride. Yeah. The matching reply got a chuckle out of Kyra as you filed out of the house. Father and son went with Kyra's bags in hand. Once you spotted your family waiting by the street, to your surprise, Derek was also with them. He stood uncomfortably, and he waved as soon as you noticed him.
What's up?
Hey, Fox. Hi, Cove. When did you get here? My dad dropped me off just a little bit ago. I thought I could visit one more time before school started.
Sorry.
You picked a busy time. Sorry. Derek couldn't even look at Cove. He nervously kept rolling a pebble with the bottom of his shoe.
Sorry.
I wasn't even thinking that your mom would be leaving today. I'm sorry, dude. What? What? You're not interrupting anything. You're always welcome here. It would have been sad if I didn't get to say goodbye before leaving. Derek came to hang out often, so it was inevitable that the two had met at some point during this season. I think so too. It was apparent Derek would have preferred to have gotten there at a more opportune moment. He never liked seeming impolite, but the reassuring words soothed his worries. The tension he was holding in his body lessened, and he looked like he was feeling much more like himself. Bye, Derek. It was fun getting to know you. Bye, ma'am. Is there anything I can do to help? Nah, don't worry yourself over that. We're just about set. In that short amount of time, Cliff had gathered and packed the things into the trunk. Kyra took one last look at everyone and sighed. All right, I don't want to keep the driver waiting. It's time to head out. The little crowd that had formed around started their chorus of farewells and well wishes traveling, but Kyra still made no move to get into the taxi. She placed her attention on Cove. I'll call when I get to the airport and when I make it to Nevada. Also, you better call me the moment you walk in the door at home, otherwise we'll be wondering all night if you got into trouble on the way there. I can do that. And could you call tomorrow too, so I can tell you how school went? Of course, I want to hear all about it. Why does she look crazy now?
Right?
Wait, yeah, what?
Kyra put a hand on Cove's head and affectionately ruffled his hair one last time. She then let go, only to move on to squeezing his cheeks in her hand. Instead. Mom! I love you so much, baby. She was chuckling by the time she freed him and rounded things off with a small tap to the tip of his nose. Cove rubbed at his face with a grin. Finally, she walked to the car while waving and took her seat in the taxi. Cliff hooked an arm around Cove's shoulder and kept him close as it began to pull away. For a moment, Cove looked up at his dad, then wrapped an arm across his back. Aw, they're bonding.
Bye.
Bye, Mom. Bye, travel safe. Kyra rolled down the window and stuck her head out of it. She waved again while blowing kisses at Cove and Cliff. See you again! Before she was out of sight, you decided to... I will wave goodbye. As the taxi headed down the road, you stuck your hand in the air to send her off. The cab turned down another road and completely disappeared from view. Cove let go of his dad and took a few steps out onto the empty street, still looking in the direction his mom went. He smiled quietly, deep in thought. He got the impression that Cove was feeling better than he was earlier. He was finally content with the way things were. You jumped a bit when your mom put a hand on your shoulder. Jesus Christ! Don't sneak up on me like that! Pulling you away from your thoughts. She smiled when you looked at her. This was a great vacation, huh? Yeah.
I don't think so.
I thought it was a pretty good one. Yeah, it was a good one. Cove walked back over to the group, still genuinely happy. Derek grinned at him welcomingly, and everyone there smiled at him, even Elizabeth.
Well?
Mama clapped her hands together, bringing everyone's attention back to the present.
Oh, it's almost lunchtime. I think I'll put something special together.
Her eyes sparkled with a plan, and Mom smiled. I bet you could use some help with that.
That would be absolutely wonderful. Now I could cook by myself.
Derek glanced between the two, his eyebrows furrowed. Are you two married? Is there something I could do?
Oh.
No, I was making a joke. Your mom's exchanged a fond expression. Ma shook her head.
How sweet.
That's very sweet, Dirk, but it's alright. And I want you in my kitchen, little
Yeah.
bit.
It's not your job. Technically, your dad left you under Cliff's watch. You're meant to be taken care of by him, not doing chores for the neighbors. Mom laughed a little over her own joke. You watched Jarek look away, discouraged. L.
Lamel.
It's okay.
It's okay. I don't mind. He was a little bashful about it. You wonder if Mom's joke had just reminded him that he wasn't initially meant to be invited to lunch. It was getting a little awkward.
Okay.
Mom grinned sympathetically. Her comment was meant to lighten the mood, not bring it back down. Mama tried again to get things moving forward.
Why don't you kids go have fun? Y'all can come back in about an hour. We'll make enough for everyone.
Your mom nodded in agreement.
Sounds good.
Another stunning idea, Lonnie. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That sounds like a plan, then. I don't want to cramp your style. I've got some stuff to work on, so I can be out of your hair this afternoon. You should come by later, too. No reason you should be the odd man out. Mom seemed amused as Cliff rubbed his neck nervously. He grinned a wavering but pleased smile.
Thanks very much.
I appreciate the invite. He looked over at the assembled crowd with knowing glances. I can help too. With as many people as you're feeding, that's gonna be a lot of food.
Didn't you hear what we told Derek? It wouldn't be fair to make you cook when we're the ones who are inviting you.
Not gonna lie, it seems like he's got a crush on your mom.
I don't blame him. Have you seen them? They're kind of hot.
Oh my god. Derek, yeah, we got it. Oh my god.
I don't blame him.
Mama raised an eyebrow when Cliff waved it off.
Come on.
I insist. Derek would be missing time with his pals. But this would be a break for me. I'm quite the chef, says the man who made his son
don't let him in
eggs
my
the first few nights he was there.
Don't let this man in my kitchen.
Mama and Mom exchanged further glances before Mom shrugged.
True.
An airtight argument.
If you're sure, we'll be happy to have you, Chef Cliff. Don't let this man in my kitchen.
Did he do something wrong when he was in the kitchen last time?
No, Angie just doesn't like people in her kitchen.
No. That's the one difference me and this version have.
Yeah. Cliff's grin widened, and he seemed more hyped than you expected him to be about helping with lunch. Cove shook his head, a fond smile on his face. Then, all of us grown-up people will be heading inside. I assume the rest of you kiddos are staying out?
Maybe not all of them. Yeah, that seems about right.
Mama tilted her head, a silent question for Elizabeth. Your sister thought for a moment.
Alright,
I'll stay with the kids.
that's fantastic.
That's great. Ah, yes, that's fantastic.
Both your moms smiled at her, while Derek and Cove didn't seem to appreciate her phrasing. But with the plan decided, all three parents waved and headed for your house. It was just you teenagers now. Cove is taller than Elizabeth.
By like a couple inches from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that they're on a slope.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty tall.
with the plan decided,
Fox likes tall men.
I do like tall men. I'm not gonna lie. But With the plan decided, all three parents waved and headed for your house. It was just you teenagers now. Elizabeth looked at you and the others, a curious expression on her face. So, what now? You silently wondered if Elizabeth only stayed out with you to avoid getting roped into work. Honestly, fair. Then again, she could just genuinely want to hang out. You couldn't tell with your sister. Cove spoke up after no one else did to answer Elizabeth's question. Want to go down to the shopping street? It's been a while, and I don't think there's a lot of other things we could agree on. Yeah, I would, but I'm like $20 short.
Man, if only you had a $20.
My God, this
Only
is long.
I
was
had a
gonna wait until you
$20
were, like,
bill.
Done so I could go to bed.
No.
I'm going to bed.
Okay. Good night, Mama. I love you.
I love you too. Good night.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
I know it's late.
Sounds awesome to me. Unlike you guys, I haven't been there 1,001 times. It's new to me. Okay. You strolled across the road as a group, down to the beach, then to the left. It took less than 15 minutes to arrive, one of the conveniences of Sunset Bird. The four of you looked around at the familiar shops, trying to see if anything caught your attention this time. Derek was the most enthusiastic. He checked every stall with his eyes wide in wonder. Elizabeth and Cove were in good spirits as well. That's so cool! He ran over to a street magician who was currently doing a card trick for a group of enchanted tourists. Derek clapped when the magician showed a middle-aged man his card. Derek turned back to the group with a curious gleam on his face. What does it take to perform here anyway? Do you have to ask somebody, or do you just show up and start doing stuff? Who would you even ask? It's a public street. Hey, Miss Mayor, can I pull a rabbit out of my hat, please? Flopsy's well behaved, I promise. Derek chuckled, his eyes searching up and down the scene. Maybe there's a boss at the shopping street. No one does any of this around my neighborhood. It's just regular stores behind walls. It's different if someone wants a real store, but here, I'm pretty sure people are just putting on their little shows whenever they want and do whatever. Oh, that's so neat. Would we be allowed to do something too? Cove laughed and Derek began almost vibrating with excitement. Elizabeth rolled her eyes. What would we do? Well, I don't know that. Not yet, I mean. I just found out it's a possibility, you know? But there's gotta be something. We know cool stuff. I'm sure we could think about it. We could plan a show that really get a crowd pumped. I'll give a look to the other two. Derek continued to brainstorm out loud about the different potential performances while you glanced at Cove and Elizabeth. I mean, I can bounce a soccer ball on my head. Last time I tried, I got 8 bounces before it fell. Left click? Okay, I'll just use the enter button. I wouldn't bring a ball here. Why not? Cove gestured to everything around. The stalls, the people, all the colorful chaos that made up the shopping street. I'm broke as fudge, but I still want to know. Want to know what? Also, I'm setting the 5-minute timer for how long I have to be without my left click button.
Oof.
Would you want to chase a lost ball here? What if it hit somebody? Even if you're good, someone else could bump into you. Better hope no multiple choice pops up, seriously. That's true. Derek thought about it some more. Then he watched another performer. A woman doing tricks with 2 small dogs. One was fluffy and cream colored while the other was cool gray. Question from earlier, by the way, does $30 still buy a root beer float for you to drink? Yeah, it would. I think a root beer float would be like, maybe like $5. It's not very expensive. The woman held up rings. Both animals brightened. Both animals jumped through the openings, happy to receive a treat at the end. Derek brightened. Maybe I'll teach crabs how to race. Crabs? It could work. With some amusement, the gang continued to peruse the stalls. Elizabeth found some earrings with a dangling, badly misprinted globe that everyone laughed at. Cove picked out a blob as Iceland, but Derek thought it had to be Greenland. You know, this is a world with what looks like 9 continents. I think you're both wrong. Oh god.
Oh no.
I can use the arrow buttons!
No, it's Australia.
I can use the arrow buttons.
Yo. Still think the correct option is no, it's Australia.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no, it's Australia. The other 3 giggled at your interjection. Suddenly, Cove froze. You stared at him, then tried to see what caught his attention. When you saw a familiar face down the way, it all made sense. Between... Oh no! Oh no!
Who's Jeremy?
No! It's fucking Jeremy!
Oh, it's gonna be a TDL.
Oh no! It's fucking Jeremy! God damn it! Jeremy's a little shit who hates everyone!
Yeah,
Oh,
nice
it's
little
fucking Jeremy! Jeremy slowly drifted his eyes down the street, and his eyes widened in mutual recognition. He definitely noticed you. Oh god, run away! Run away! Not telling Jeremy to jump off a palm tree! Oh my god. Derek frowned and Cove sighed. Neither of them were happy to see him again. You know, we're just gonna be shocked. We're just scared. Why was Jeremy here? Out of all the days he could go shopping. Elizabeth raised an eyebrow. Her gaze swept over Jeremy without a hint of a clue. Jeremy simply scoffed to himself and waded deeper into the crowd of people. Derek relaxed and exhaled loudly. Oh, thank God. I'm glad he's not gonna start anything. He peeked over at Elizabeth with a tiny smirk. See? That was the mean kid.
What?
Huh? She still didn't get it. That first summer day hadn't made nearly as much of an impression on her as it did for Derek, but he smiled and waved it off. Just forget about him. I already have. He laughed, and Cove smiled lightly. He seemed in a much better mood now that Jeremy was gone. Same. Your eyes wandered over to where Jeremy disappeared. You hadn't forgotten the day you met him either. He was only going to be in town for a vacation with the parents he hated. That glimpse was probably the last time you'd ever see him. Thank God. I'm gonna say it to everyone. Jeremy's probably gone for good now. It's time for him to go back to wherever he's from. Yeah! I guess we won't have to worry about that guy anymore. Derek kicked a little rock in the road. It clattered forward and then rolled under a stall. Damn, my paw points were wasted. Oh, nah. To be fair, Pencil, you waste them a lot during gambles, so... This is not a new thing for you.
Call him out like that.
But I still think it's kind of sad Jeremy turned out. Oh, I can use my mouse now. Thank God. I still think it's kind of sad Jeremy turned out to be, well, like he is. It would have been nice to make another friend. Cove shook his head. He was clearly not broken up over what might have been. I'm happy it's over. Elizabeth rolled her eyes at the strange farewell to the boy. Not interested in the slightest. She clearly didn't understand his impact, and at this point, she didn't really want to understand. You couldn't help but wonder, though, what would have happened if you would have interacted with Jeremy more? You're glad you wouldn't find out. What? No. Jeremy was unlike anyone you had ever met before.
Thought he was stupid.
Thought he was a jerk.
So horrible.
Yeah. You and the group moved on from one stall and from the stall and from Jeremy. It didn't take long for everyone else to return to the joking. You all enjoyed what little time you had left. As Elizabeth mentioned, the hour was almost up. The little trip had flown by, and lunch must have been waiting for you now. Derek bounced on the balls of his feet.
Okay.
Come on, guys, let's get going so we can eat. I'm starving. Homebound we go! Cove stretched one of his arms lazily. Let's go then. You looked at him appraisingly. Carry me! Then you followed Elizabeth as she took it upon herself to lead the way back home. She walked fast, much faster than Derek preferred. She kept gaining a lead, then Derek would jog back up to the group. With Cove's long legs, he had no trouble keeping up. I will walk with Cove. You kept close to your neighbor. You both chatted about things you'd seen at the shopping district, with Derek chiming in every so often. You caught Cove smiling at you a couple times. He was happy you were spending time with him. It was a pleasant walk home, and in no time you had made it back. Derek got the front door and held it open for everyone as you each moseyed inside. The three parents were still in the kitchen. They looked up and waved. Welcome back, everyone. You made it just in time. I hope you're hungry. So, did everyone have a nice time out? She gestured for people to take a seat at the table. Plates and silverware had already been placed out. You took your normal seat. Elizabeth sat across from you. Derek took the seat to your left. Cove sat on your right. My dude really moseyed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had a great time. It was fine. Cove shrugged, not willing to say more than that. Yeah, the bank heist went off without a hitch. Your joke got some chuckles going around the table. That's good in my book. Casually, Mr. Holden sat in the empty seat across from Cove. He smiled at you and all the other kids. Mom set down a platter full of water glasses on the table. She looked down at the gathering. It's a good thing we have 8 chairs. I can't remember the last time we've had a group this big over for a meal. Can you pass the drinks down the other side? Make sure you all get one. Sure. Those close to the cups obliged and started offering waters around. As everything got set up, Mama chided Elizabeth to take her elbows off the table.
Now.
And you shouldn't slouch. She pointed to Mr. Holden, who was leaning forward with both his arms on the table. Oops. Mr. Holden seemed unsure about all the sudden attention, and carefully rearranged his posture to something suitable for a fancy dinner. He smiled sheepishly at Mama. Elizabeth rolled her eyes, and Mama gave a level look at her. You shouldn't be impolite to a guest in the house either. Elizabeth groaned, long and long-suffering. Mama giggled, and Mr. Holden chuckled.
Not bad.
A lot of you could learn a thing or two from Derek. He has the best manners here. Derek blushed, but it was true. His posture was upright and formal. He even held his fork gracefully. His table manners were on top of all his attempts to aid your parents. His table manners on top of all his attempts to aid your parents made him the model of meal attendee behavior. Oh my god, this is so much talking.
Aw.
It's nothing. It's true, though. You have been a lovely guest. I've noticed that, too. It's always nice when you stay over, Derek. Derek smiled and sat a little taller in his chair. And do you have anything good to say about our other guest? She looked deliberately at Cove with a teasing smirk. Or is there just nothing to say? Well, Cove's my number 1, but he does still clean his hands by wiping them on his pants. Cove frowned at that and absentmindedly brushed his hands on his pant legs. Your mom's laughed lightly.
There.
Elizabeth, you should know. After all these years, Cove is hardly a guest anymore. Cove smiled awkwardly. Thanks. Manners, smanners. Manners. You joked that Derek was basically an adult. Next time, Derek is really gonna stay inside and cook. He's practically a mini adult. If he's joining the grown-ups, then you're going to have to treat him like one. Okay, so Mr. Suarez, how go your taxes? Cove spinned his cannon, basically. Derek shook his head and chuckled. Everyone ate their meal together and continued to hang out for the afternoon. After the food, you and the others played a couple games and talked about plans for the upcoming year. The time passed by quickly, and soon it was time to part ways. Mr. Holden talked to your moms, and Cove drifted over towards you, knowing that as soon as his dad finished up, he would be leaving. It'd be cool to stay, but we have some stuff to do before everything closes today.
Okay.
Yeah, bye. Could you move? I need the phone. Cove raised an eyebrow and Elizabeth impatiently gestured behind him. Cove realized he was standing right in front of where the receiver was placed. He sidestepped out of the way and shook his head, clearly thinking Elizabeth was rushing too much. Your sister made a beeline for the phone and started dialing the number of what you figured was one of her friends. Knowing Elizabeth, she was going to be on there a while. You, Cove, and Derek shuffled closer to the door. It seemed like Mr. Holden was wrapping up his conversation, so everyone started saying their various farewells.
Talk to you later.
See you later, Cove. We gotta do this again sometime. Yeah, see you. Cove turned to you and smiled slightly. Bye, Fox. Hug. You stepped forward and spread your arms wide. Cove only had a moment to react before you encircled him in your arms. Cove took a second to return the hug, surprised. He leaned into you and held on. Then he hovered nearby with a small smile on his face when it ended. His cheeks were slightly red, especially when he looked over and noticed that Derek had been watching the whole thing. Derek smiled amusedly.
Dude.
Seriously, dude. We'll have to hang out later. I'm gonna miss you during school. He punched Cove's arm softly. Cove still rubbed the spot afterward. Cove and his dad left soon after that. Your parents started cleaning up the house and Elizabeth was still chatting to her friends on the phone. It was just you and Derek left. He elected to stay outside in the front of the house to wait for his dad to pick him up. He decided to keep your guest company, although he was originally Cove's visitor. A light summer breeze flew through your hair, and Derek shifted his weight from foot to foot. Thanks for waiting with me. He kicked at the ground distractedly.
Well,
Dad's still gonna be a while, so do you want to take a walk? Sure, I don't mind. The two of you walked down the street again, just wandering without a destination planned. It was a quiet stroll, too quiet for Derek being the company. You turned to him when you noticed he wasn't saying a word. That was unusual. Derek always had something he could chat about. You weren't sure if you should ask about it. Somehow, you ended up at the old park near the beach. You glanced over to Derek once more, still expecting him to say something any second now. However, nothing came from him. In fact, now you noticed a frown creeping on his face. Derek smiled when he realized you were watching. At least, his mouth was turned up. There wasn't anything that felt happy in the expression. He turned away and the smile fell off his face. His eyes stared intently at the ground and he raised an eyebrow. Is everything okay? I'm a little sad. It's just, with school starting back up again, it's gonna be harder to visit. I'm gonna have homework and clubs and practices and everything else.
this sucks.
It really sucks that we go to different schools. His face screwed up and his fists were closed tightly together. This was really concerning for him. What if we don't have time? I will put some optimism into our conversation. We'll make time. We can talk over the phone and have plans for weekends. It'll be okay. Derek looked up at the sky. It was orange and purple with little wisps of clouds scattered around. A plane flew high with a jet stream trailing behind it. Then he turned to the ground again. Derek's face was tilted far enough down that it was harder to read his expression. Hey Fox, I actually wanted to talk to you about something, if you don't mind. There was a pause, and you waited for him to finish his thought.
Sorry.
I was just kind of wondering, do you like guys at all? Like, would you ever want to be with someone who is a boy? Sorry if that's a weird ask. I could be with a guy. Okay, then. He hesitated before finishing his question. So, what I mean is, is there any guy you think is kind of cool that you like around here? Not at school or anything like that? He ducked his head further. He thought about it.
Thank you. Yes, let's just completely 180 the plot of this entire visual novel.
Should I just play dumb?
No.
The only one for you is he.
Cool.
Mr. Holden, why him?
Well, I like Cove. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between. Here's the thing. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I feel bad. I'm just gonna say there are a lot of guys I think are cool. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and saying I like you is gonna give him false hope.
Yeah, I don't want to give him false hope. Oh, Derek shrugged and then started to mumble and wonder. Maybe you don't get what I'm trying to ask. So Derek pulled himself together somewhat meekly. He looked at you while trying to project confidence. His posture was too tight for you to believe it. He was nervous.
Alright.
You know, I was thinking ahead and everything is important. You gotta get yourself a game plan and all that. It's good to make plans, especially backup plans. He's a bunch of ones and zeros, I know! I know.
Ones and zeros with emotions that make me feel emotions.
Exactly!
Guys.
He babbled, all full of energy and forced gusto. Well, anyway, I heard about this thing where people make pacts with their good friends that if they don't find anyone else, then they get together. Oh. Together. Like, they get married and stuff. So, I was thinking, since it's good to have plans, it might be cool if we did something like that. His eyes widened and he started to make frantic hand gestures. Just, we'd never have to worry about the future or finding someone. We can set it like a whole ordeal. We can set it like a whole decade in the future. Forever from now. We'd have graduated high school and probably college too. We'd have jobs and be really grown up. I mean, we probably have our own places and maybe our own pets and student loans and cars. Derek babbled on for a while more. It was as if all the words he held in his silence during your walk burst out now, all at once. So, yeah, what do you think? God, I feel bad.
I feel like that would get
I
feel like that would get backfired.
Do you like me? Just what?
No, I'm not asking him if he likes me. That's just gonna make things 10 times more awkward.
I think having a backup plan sounds smart.
I'm just gonna do I'll think about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big decision for just being put on the spot. Yeah, sure. Don't worry about it. It's just an idea. Thanks for hearing me out and answering my questions and stuff. He felt a little worried that Derek wasn't happy when he saw your face. He smiled encouragingly.
It's okay.
I promise I'm not mad. Just wondering. I'm sure things will be okay in the future, no matter what. You just nodded. You didn't spend much longer at the park after that. Derek didn't want to miss his dad, so you both made your way back to your street. After Derek went back home, you decided to settle in for the night. Stretching your arms over your head, you noticed that the living room and the phone were free. I feel like my social battery's a little dead, and also I don't want to do more voices. I really don't. You flopped onto the couch and wiggled until you were positioned just right. And you knew when it was perfect because all the exhaustion from the day started fading away. Sighing contently, you were pleased with this end to the day. Looking at the clock on the wall, you saw that there was only about 10 minutes until your mom would be insisting you have to go to bed, so you could be rested enough for school. You stretched your legs out on the couch and sighed in defeat, watching the minute hand change 1 minute closer to bedtime. You rearranged yourself, feeling restless, and looked out the window. Startled initially, you spotted a figure out in the hills. It was Cove. What the hell is he doing out there? When the surprise faded, you realized it wasn't much of a shock at all. This was exactly something Cove would do. Smack the window! I'll just open the window and yell, "Hey!
Come, get over here!
Happily, you
bitch.
got up and strolled over to the window. You opened it fully. Hey, Cove! Startled, Cove jumped and turned around to see you through the glass. He quickly relaxed and waved at you.
Then you left him alone. Alright, bye.
Nah, I'll
Close
talk
the
to him.
window.
Strolling casually, you went over to the front door. When you arrived, you noticed how many fireflies were out that night. They drifted along lazily, barely minding your presence as you waded through to reach the top of the hill. Cove turned towards you as you approached, and you noticed right away that Cove seemed happy to see you. Hey. You had a bounce in your step. You weren't sure how long you'd get before your mom's roped you back inside for bed. Hey, what are you doing out here?
Nothing.
Nothing, really. He shrugged, seeming unhappy with his own answer. You stared at him, waiting for him to continue. Well, I guess I was feeling kind of weird about stuff, so I'm getting some fresh air before bed. Makes sense. I know how you feel. It's hard to stay still. Tomorrow is going to be the start of a new year. At the mention of school, a small noise escaped him. Cove let himself fall onto his butt, and then all the way down, so he was laying on his back. He looked up at the sky. I'll lay down. You lowered yourself to lay back on the hill. You'd been lost in thought, or was possibly waiting for you to situate yourself, but he started speaking unprompted again. Thanks for telling me about my dad, and the money he offered you to be my friend. This was probably the last thing you were expecting out of him. Cove seemed to pick up on that and stretch his arms out wide in front of him.
I mean...
This is where we met, remember? It happened that day. You could recall the sad little boy with the pink cast who you found in this very spot. It felt like a lifetime ago. I kind of have a strange feeling looking at you. Not in a bad way, just thinking about you then and seeing you now, it's something. He turned his face away from you. You got the impression he was trying to hide a blush. It was almost unbelievable how much of an impact he'd made on your life just by moving in next door. You couldn't even imagine what your days might have looked like in a world where you hadn't met him. Cove glanced back at you, waiting for a response. You had no idea what you had to say. Then, still without a word from you, Cove shook his head strongly. What? It's you. Huh? He snickered before answering. He looked thoroughly amused with your reaction. That's what you do all the time, so I'm being you. Oh my god. Feeling self-conscious, you glanced at the ground and felt a blush burn across your face. When you dared look back, you saw that Cove was smiling apologetically. He wasn't trying to be mean with it. Honestly, there weren't many people you could think of who could tease you about something like that. Returning his smile, you realized there was no denying that you two have been around each other for a long time. Cove broke the quiet before it could fully settle.
See you tomorrow.
Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, see you then. With a final wave, Cove headed home, but you stayed a few minutes longer. Your mind kept going back to a simple statement, see you tomorrow. No matter how much was changing about you, there were some things in your life that always seemed to remain true. The hills felt warm to you that night. Before you knew it, you were getting comfortable under the covers in your room. Your mind couldn't help but still be buzzing with thoughts about the future. You felt excited. There was little doubt in your mind that things were moving forward, and you couldn't wait to find out what changes were waiting for you on the horizon. Slowly, your eyes grew heavy, and you drifted off to sleep, your mind spinning with wistful thoughts. No matter what happened next, you could only hope that you would make the most of it. You were ensnared in a dream when a noise from the outside world jostled you. Oh god, there's more story? Your eyes snapped open. What the fuck? The light clatter continued. Now that you were more alert, you could distinguish it as a tapping sound. Quiet, slow, but persistent. Is Cove back at my window?
I was like, hey, I'm not through with you yet.
Oh my god. Each beat was like being poked. You couldn't ignore it. You lifted your head from the pillow and looked for the source. Not much work was needed to puzzle it out. It was from the window. With that, you knew exactly what it was. From the color of the light flickering into your room, it was too early for anyone to be awake, including the sun, but it had barely hauled itself over the horizon. That didn't stop some people, it seemed. You sat up in your bed and opened the window wide. Cool air, not yet warmed by the day, tickled your face as it pushed into your room. And just as you expected, there was your neighbor crouching on your windowsill. He's fully dressed, just not for school. Oh, shit! He's wearing a wetsuit and a shy smile. Hi, Fox. He stared back, blinking. So technically, we won't be back to school for a few more hours. His voice was delicate, yet deliberate, each word a careful explanation. Classes haven't actually started yet, so do you want to hit the beach with me one more time this summer? Aww.
Oh god,
You're crazy.
You're insane, man.
Oh my god. No.
Cove, you're so cute, always.
His smile widened affectionately. You rushed to get changed into something suitable while Cove climbed back down to ground level. Your limbs, still half asleep, struggled somewhat as you attempted to coordinate them into a wetsuit, but you got there in the end. Soon you were tiptoeing out your front door, clutching a towel. Cove was already there to greet you. Your eyes met. Cove's gaze darted to your destination and back to you. You checked the door was closed, gave him a thumbs up, and the two of you leapt into action. Wordlessly, you began to run down the familiar path ahead, Cove beside you. The thrill of your illicit outing made you want to laugh. Not that you dared. If anyone in your family looked out and saw you, then your summer would be back to being over. One glance at Cove told you he was exactly the same, holding back snickers for fear of being heard and caught. The towel streamed out from under your arm like a cape. You were running so fast downhill that simply keeping your balance and not tumbling down was a real threat. It just wasn't enough of one of you to make It just wasn't enough of one to make you slow your pace. For every step you took, the beach was a little closer and the day a little brighter. What lay ahead of you would arrive if you were happy to meet it. Aww. That was cute. Gonna give me more freckles.
Oh, are you now in stage 3?
I assume we're going to like teen years. I'm not giving myself acne. I already have enough body issues. No more braces. No more braces.
You
Fuck
gave
the
yourself braces intentionally?
Yeah.
I could never. This day, I had perfect teeth from birth.
Plain ring. I didn't wear a headscarf. Nail color. I did not have a nose ring. My nails are like... I'd say my nails are short. Ooh, I can paint my nails. I kind of want to paint my nails black. Be emo.
Yeah, this is around the time I started painting my nails black.
I actually do enjoy painting my nails black. It's pretty for me. Okay. Done with that. And then we're moving to love. Okay. I am going to ooh. Okay, we can customize Cove now. Aww!
You can customize your Cove.
Wait, I love this hairstyle actually.
You want to give Cove glasses not still?
Yeah.
After all these years of having glasses?
I'd still be wearing glasses. Nah, I like this shirt.
Cove has glasses?
Yeah, he wears glasses.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. I was not paying
Necklace. I've been missing out on our life lore.
Yes, you have.
Ooh, I like that hair. That's
Yeah,
what I
we'll
would
stick
pick.
with this hair.
It's kind of cool.
PJs.
I wonder, can he go shirtless? I'm kidding.
No, he cannot.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
That looks good.
Yeah, that's good. Well.
Yes, abs.
Oh my God, Moon.
Formal.
It's these nice formal shirts.
Okay. And since you're romantically interested in Cove and are old enough to start being physically affectionate more seriously, you can choose what initiative level he has throughout Step 3. Making sure the player experiences what they want is important in our life, but always putting your choice first can potentially make a relationship feel one-sided. So we've added some flexibility on how it works. Low initiative means Cove will occasionally ask to touch the MC, and those situations there will always be an opportunity to say yes or no. For example, he won't simply lean over and kiss the MC as a greeting or an emotional moment. Every piece of physical interaction will be either initiated or approved by the player before it happens. Middle initiative means there will be those certain times when Cove requests to touch, many chances to initiate affection on your own, and also Cove will be pretty regularly giving affection automatically. One example would be giving the MC a kiss because he's happy or emotional or something else. And in other situations, you can choose not to make the first move in order to give Cove the space to be the one to act afterwards. Overall, Cove can get romantic, but the player's agency will take priority. High initiative includes everything the middle does, but it also means the player's agency will be reduced to a degree in favor of having Cove give physical affection even more frequently with less prompting. Instead of all the major affection giving situations being led by a choice menu for you to decide on, some will instead be replaced by Cove acting automatically. This level is only recommended if you're very comfortable with physical affection and would prefer to simply see it happen rather than always holding the reins on it. However, this level is mostly relevant if Cove ends up as your official boyfriend at some point. Situations where high-level initiative makes a difference tend to come up in scenes that are exclusive to being a relationship. The parts that are also included in the middle initiative will be seen whether you're dating or not. Once you pick your level, it can't be changed later, so keep your full playthrough in mind when deciding. We hope you enjoy whatever initiative option you decide on. Ooh.
Crank that shit up or no?
I'm gonna get so flustered constantly.
You want to just constantly get flustered by this man, or
it's time for some flustered fox, man. We already chose love. We're in it to win it.
We're in it for the relationship.
We're in it to win it.
High initiative.
Okay, I assume I can save here and it'll be fine. Okay. Alright, y'all, so this is where it's gonna end. We have other games that we're playing this week. We're not playing Our Life, the rest of this week, but we will probably play it next week. I hope you all enjoyed, first off. And then I'm gonna look for someone to potentially raid while we are chatting here. I'm really enjoying this game. I think it's really fun. I think the game is super cute, and I'm happy that I'm playing it, honestly. I'm the only person streaming this game. That's really funny. But I really enjoy this game. I really like playing it. I do not have someone to raid, so I'm just going to hit the end stream button. Alright, y'all. I say this every stream, and I will continue to say it every stream because it will continue to remain true, even if my cat is glaring at me, waiting for me to feed her. Doesn't matter what you did today, even if all you did was just lie in bed and breathe. You know what? You are converting oxygen to carbon dioxide, and I'm so freaking proud of you. You're doing amazing. Please remember to eat, drink, sleep, and love yourself, because you freaking deserve it, man. I will see you guys on Wednesday to be playing Genshin Impact. All right. Love you all. Goodbye. You two want to say your best?
Bye bye.